This is the ultimate get ready for baby marathon. I'm Sophie from Sophisticated Motherhood, and I have pulled together all of the clips and video content that I have from my first pregnancy when I was pregnant with our baby boy. I have tons of organizing videos in his nursery, his closet, his bathroom, organizing postpartum areas for me just to get ready for that, a bedside nursing cart. I also have some content on packing my hospital bag, prepping freezer meals, and a whole lot more. So if you are pregnant or know of somebody who is pregnant, you might want to send this to them because this video covers absolutely everything and is going to be that motivation that you want and need when you're expecting. So get ready for a long marathon video. Like I said, this is over 3 hours of content. I hope you enjoy, and if you do, I would love if you subscribe and stick around for more content. Lots of baby stuff going on here, so I would love to see you back again. As you can see, the nursery is not done. There's no furniture in here yet. We still have a light switch that we're fixing, but we haven't really done a ton of stuff yet. Other than installing the car seat last night, we have that installed, so we're good to go there just in case baby comes early. But I haven't washed baby clothing yet. I haven't sanitized things. I have a ton to do. So hopefully you guys are excited to join me for part of this journey. I'm gonna break it up into multiple parts. So today is just a lot of baby prep. I'm gonna do another video with the closet and organizing that, and then another full video organizing the rest of the nursery and kind of decorating it, hopefully once we get our furniture, since we still don't have that. So if you're ready for it, let's get started. So here's kind of the current status of the nursery. Lots of laundry that we need to wash today, some stuff I need to put away. I have our pack and play set up just in case, again, he shows up early. My brother and sister-in-law are giving us their bassinet, but if they don't give it to us before our baby is born, then we have a pack and play ready for him to sleep in. I got the cutest little mobile from my parents. How cute is that, with a lion, a giraffe, and a little monkey? We're going for a jungle theme, so this is gonna fit in perfectly, but we're gonna wait to hang that till I have the crib. And then a lot of other stuff I need to put away, so let's get going. I already have the first load of laundry in the wash, but I want to get the second one ready to go, and I have some crib sheets that I haven't opened up, so I really just wanted to make sure that they're the color that I like. I think kind of the main colors I have going on in here are gray, because half the walls, or I guess 3/4 of the walls, are gray. I have the sage green color, that's the one accent wall, and then some whites. And I also wanted to bring in like natural colors. So you'll see the laundry hamper behind me is more of a natural color. His name sign that's on the wall is white with a natural wood color under it. So I wanted the crib sheets to bring in that natural color a bit. So I think I like them and want to keep them, so I'm going to unpackage them and then head to the laundry room so I can switch the laundry over, put those whites into the dryer, and then add in the rest of the laundry.
I sat down by the ocean. It's that tears that I feel fill up with emotions. Could I taste them for real? Longing for you, oh, but I can't get back. What can I do?
For laundry detergent, I have a few different options for baby clothing. So I did just organize my laundry detergent and my laundry room and everything like that. But what we use for our laundry is just the Branch Basics laundry detergent. It's fragrance free, all natural, no dyes, no fragrances, all that type of stuff. So this I'm sure is totally fine for baby and probably something that I'll end up using in the future. But we did get some samples of different detergents. So let me see. I did get some Dreft laundry detergent, and I've heard from a lot of people that even though this is marketed for babies, that it's super high in fragrance and still something that can cause rashes and issues with your baby. So not sure if I'm going to try the Dreft or use it, but I do know it smells really good, and there's kind of nothing that you can do to beat the scent of a laundry detergent like this. A lot of the more natural ones won't have a scent like that, of course. And then I got some samples of the 7th generation, and this is a fresh lavender scent. I honestly might save this for us and use it for our bedding because I like the scent of lavender to go to sleep and stuff, so I might just use this for us. These little packages I got as a part of like free baby boxes for signing up for registries or that type of thing. So that's why I have a few of those packages. And then one of my friend's parents got us this Zoom baby wash, and it's also in lavender. It's in Lullaby Lavender and very similar to the Branch Basics. It is like a watery consistency. They say it's laundry soap, not laundry detergent, and you use like the same amount as the Branch Basics. So this might be something that we end up liking. I'm just gonna test it out, and I guess you just kind of have to see if your baby reacts to any of the laundry detergents. But most of the options I have here are pretty baby friendly, I would like to think. Even though the Draft, I've heard some babies have issues with, it's still marketed towards babies. So these are all possible options that we may end up using for baby clothing. If you have a favorite, let me know. But for now, I'm just gonna try them and we'll see how it goes. You'll see I did opt to try the Draft. I, again, don't know if I'll end up continuing to purchase it, but since I have those little packages, I am gonna try it for this first round of laundry. I'm also putting in dryer balls as opposed to dryer sheets just to keep things a little more simple with all the different products and scents. And then back into the nursery because I'm gonna get some art ready for the other side of the room. Again, on the sage green wall right next to me, that's where his crib is gonna go, and I have a name sign already on the wall there. But on the opposite side, I'm gonna bring in the jungle theme and ordered these prints from Etsy, and they're a bunch of cute little baby animals. And then I got some picture frames that are matted to make them a little bit larger so I can make a gallery wall with a natural wood frame around them. So on the other side of the room where these are probably gonna go, I think I'm gonna put probably our rocker or glider in the corner with a little nightstand or something, and maybe a bookshelf over there. It's so hard to plan when I don't have that base furniture in there, so I can't really do all of these little fine decorating things yet until I have that base furniture. So I will find a spot to put this gallery wall of cute little animals, but I'm definitely not gonna hang it till I have the furniture in place and know where everything is gonna go. So for now, I can at least unwrap them and get all of the animals in their frames. It's kind of a tedious process opening all of these up, so I guess I am happy that I'm taking care of this a little bit earlier as opposed to waiting for the furniture. And I can already tell as I'm doing this, it's really gonna bring this jungle/safari theme together. You can see even in the closet back there, we have some stuffed animals that people have given us that match the theme, and I'm sure I can put a few other things around to really tie everything together once we're to that stage. And again, I'll film that when we get there, but for now, I'm just prepping all the things I can. I did want to lay everything out on the floor one time just so I can kind of get a vision of what it will look like. First of all, just because I'm very excited to see them all together and how it all looks, but also just to kind of start planning in my mind a little bit. And I alternated because 3 of them are kind of more so black and white, and 3 of them are more so like a orange brown type animal. So I think alternating it the way that I laid it out will end up looking really good. Now that I have that vision in place, I'm going to pick up the garbage, get that out of the bedroom, and start to clean up all these random knick-knacky things I have all over the floor here as we get packages delivered or order stuff and purchase things for the nursery or for our baby. I've just been throwing them in here and then slowly sorting them. So a lot of things are kind of put away, taken out of their packaging, cleaned up, but I had another little pile of things to get through. So I got some hangers, put those away, and we just got a diaper caddy that is going to look, I think, really good in the room. It's a clear acrylic. The dresser and nightstands that I got have clear acrylic drawer pulls, so I think it'll match that and kind of tie that aspect together.
When I sound the drums of war, unable to admit it, you were there to fill my home, to gain a sense of fairness.
I also wanted to pull our baby monitor out. I don't think I'm going to worry about setting that up right now. I think I want to get my husband Jim involved so he can help me figure out how to do this, but I'm getting out all of the packaging and getting it ready to try and set it up. But I think I'll probably keep the packaging just in case it's something we don't like. It's obviously an expensive purchase. This is a nicer baby monitor, so I want to make sure I like it before I just throw away the box, and of course make sure that it works before we throw away the box. So I think that's probably a project I will get Jim involved in tomorrow because he is out golfing while I am doing this and going to a football game. So he's gone all day, and I am in my happy place organizing and cleaning, and especially my happy place in this nursery.
There's a way to calm the noise and scare the mystery monger.
I also pulled out our mattress protector. That is something that's going to need to go through the wash as well. Didn't really think about that. Probably should have unpackaged that first, but I think we still continue to keep getting stuff for baby and baby clothing and stuff like that in the mail. So there'll be plenty more loads of laundry, I'm sure.
You can tell me now. Do you ever wish
Then a few other items on the floor here. This absolutely adorable growth chart that fits the theme as well, and a little wipe dispenser. Both of these were sent to me from subscribers, which was so nice to receive little packages in the mail. I am just so thankful for how kind all of you have been to me and how excited you guys are for our baby. And sometimes I feel like you guys are right there with me through this journey. So it was just really sweet to get a couple of gifts for our baby in the mail.
here's what you don't know. Feelings they grow slow. I've just been caring for mine. Now I can feel it. Now I believe it.
I've been cutting a lot of tags to all the clothing on the floor and other things, and while this was vacuumed when we first moved in and nobody's been living in here, I just worry that there might be little parts of tags or little bits of plastic on the ground, so I want to give it one more vacuum, especially before I fold all of the clothes on the floor and before we get that furniture moved in.
In the name of love, in the name of love. In the name of love, in the name of love. It's easy.
First load of laundry is done, and I can tell this is already a lesson learned with baby socks. I do have a bunch of little lingerie bags, and I can tell how quickly baby socks are going to get lost. One already got pushed under the dryer a little bit. I could tell that a lot of them get stuck in the little gasket part of the washing machine. So I am going to plan on putting all of the baby socks and things like that are really, really small into lingerie bags, as either they go into the laundry, which is probably the most useful, or just kind of sorting through the laundry and sticking them in there before I put them in the wash. I did read every single tag before I put everything into the wash and dryer. And I remembered with the dark load, there were a couple of things that I didn't want to dry, which is annoying enough with my own clothing when I have clothing that you have to hang dry. But for baby clothing, I definitely don't want to have a ton of things that I have to individually pull out of the wash to hang dry as opposed to tumble dry in the dryer. So there were just a couple things. I pulled those out and then got to the nursery so I could start sorting the clothing into piles. So I wanted to have a pile for every size of clothing, which definitely took a while. So I sped it up here for you guys because I'm not super familiar with all this clothing. I don't know which articles of clothing are which size. I'm sure as he starts to wear them, I'll know what's what. But since this is the first time I'm going through all of it and looking exactly at all of the sizes, I have to look through everything and sort it. And I'm also making piles for blankets and burp cloths and socks and hats and swaddles and all of the different baby items. So just like I do with my laundry, I've shared this before, I always find it easier to sort first, then fold. And that not only helps with the sizing of clothing, but it also helps when I'm dividing clothing up into different piles and differentiating between blankets and swaddles and burp cloths, because you'll see I'm folding burp cloths and I'm folding them all the same way. And I fold and fold and fold the exact same way. And it just kind of reduces the brain power you have to use, which is silly to say with folding laundry. I know it doesn't require a ton of brain power, but you find a way that folds nicely and looks good, and then you can just repeat that process as opposed to folding one burp cloth, folding 20 items of baby clothing, and then trying to remember, how did I fold that burp cloth to make it look that way? So it's just easier to do it all at the same time. This process is also really helpful for me as I'm going through everything to kind of make a last final list of any other items we might need to purchase in the last month or so before he arrives. And I know there's probably nothing else we really need. We do need diapers and wipes. That is still on the list of things to purchase, but there's not a ton of things you actually need for your baby's arrival. Just a safe place for them to sleep. You got to make sure that there's a way that you can feed them, whether it's breastfeeding or formula, and you need bottles, and diapers and wipes again are helpful, and a few outfits. But other than that, you don't need a ton. That being said, I just want to make sure I have the stuff that I want before he's here. So creating these different piles, understanding how many blankets we have, how many swaddles we have, how many outfits we have in each size, really helps me to understand if we have enough of everything that I want. My brother and sister-in-law had twin boys about 4 months ago, so they'll be somewhere near 5 or 6 months apart. And since they had twins, they had them a little bit earlier and they were a little bit smaller, so they had a lot of preemie clothing that they gave to us. They also gave us a lot of their newborn clothing that their boys have already grown out of. And probably around the time that our son is born, they'll be moving out of their 0 to 3 month clothing and be able to give us some of that. So a lot of this clothing was not stuff purchased by us. It was stuff that's hand-me-downs from my nephews. That being said, we definitely have some outfits that are gifts from friends and family that are so cute. I can't get over how cute some baby clothing is and how tiny it is, and just how excited I am to dress him up into all these little outfits.
Talking to myself like someone's gonna respond. I'm getting tired of myself.
So the folding methods that I'm using right now may not be the folding that I'm going to do once we have our dresser. I'm going to kind of figure it out once we have the dresser and know how much space we have and understand how I want to fold things to fit into that specific dresser. But for now, I'm just folding them so I can put them away in piles, probably just on the shelf of the closet or something. We really have clothing in so many different sizes. Some of this last clothing that I'm folding is all the way up to an 18-month size or all the way up to 24 months. So we have some items that are in larger sizes as well, which will take a while for him to grow into. But I'm making a stack first of preemie. Then those are all my newborn outfits that we have a lot of with the hand-me-downs. Then 0 to 3 month, 3 to 6, 6 to 12. And then we have a few other larger sizes. And then some of the big bulky things, I'm just going to stick in this toy bin for now and get them out of the way. Also grabbing some bins from the closet just to put things in for now. I have to actually organize the closet later, but these bins are empty. So I'm going to throw one pile of socks and hats just all together, literally throw them in there. One pile that I'm putting all of our blankets and burp cloths and little bibs that are more like drool type bibs as opposed to food bibs. And then this last one, I'm going to fold up our swaddles and stick those in there. This halo swaddle that I just folded was also a gift from a subscriber, and I've heard so many great things about the halo swaddle, so I'm really excited about it. And it is jungle themed as well, so it's perfect and I love it. I also do have one baby wrap, and that is a Solly baby wrap. And I remembered that there was a way I saw on Instagram of how to fold it or how to roll it up, I guess. And so I had to look on Instagram and find the reel that showed me how to actually roll it up, and it looked pretty good, I think. I think it worked a lot better than folding such a long piece of fabric would have.
Say you love me, say you don't, just give me something.
Finally, I wanted to go through the closet, grab anything else that needed to be taken out of the packaging, and grab any other baby items that I wanted to wash and sanitize next. So I had a few other things I could take out of the box, including the arm that goes to the mobile, get that as set up as I could. And we also got a Hatch sound machine, which I've heard really great things about. I've heard that they last from babyhood all the way to toddlers, and you can use them as a wake light that have different colors, so you can help your toddler understand when it's time to stay in bed versus time to get out of bed, which seems like a really great feature. Who knows if they actually listen to that, but this will be the little nightlight that we use, so I am going to unpackage that as well.
If you're feeling something for me, say it now, 'cause I can't wait for you forever.
Last things to pull out of the closet, I grabbed any pacifiers that I had and any other little teethers or items that could be or should be sanitized. So I'm grabbing all of those, bringing them downstairs, and going to get a few pots of water boiling and try and unpackage all of the pacifiers first. and get those ready to go. I, again, read every single label and instruction for them. All of them said for first use that you should boil it in hot water for 5 minutes, with the exception of this Wubbanub one. And you can't boil it in hot water because it has the animal attached to it. So that one you just have to clean by hand, as opposed to this one with the giraffe, that's Dr. Brown's, that the pacifier comes on and off of, which seems a lot smarter. I know people love the Wubbanub, even my little nephews love the Wubbanubs, but the Dr. Brown's one seems like a better invention because you can detach the pacifier and boil it. So you'll see I'm checking labels for everything, separating parts, and just getting it out of its packaging before we boil it.
I'm so tired of never knowing, so spell it out. 'Cause I won't stay awake till morning. I won't stay another night. If you're feeling something for me, say it now. 'Cause I can't wait for you forever.
I also have this mess of a drawer on the bottom of our kitchen here. And this is probably the only space in the kitchen that's not yet organized, is all the baby stuff I've just been throwing in there. I don't know what we're going to have. I don't know what we're going to use. So I don't want to buy organizers or spend the time organizing it quite yet. But I'm, again, pulling everything out that needs to be washed, anything that could help me with washing, like these drying racks, and getting that out on the countertops so I can wash it all. All of the formula containers down here are actually samples. We haven't purchased any formula. I signed up for some rewards programs. I got a few baby boxes, like I mentioned when we were in the laundry room. So all of those have just been sent to us for free, which is really, really nice. And I know in the hospital, sometimes they'll send you home with some formula as well. So I'm just going to go with what we have. If we end up formula feeding or supplementing with formula, that's probably a good start. And I don't think I need to purchase any more, especially considering the fact that I'm hoping to be able to breastfeed.
Never found somewhere I fit in. Until I met you, I was feeling lost.
So I'm just disassembling all the bottle parts, taking it apart as much as I possibly can, grabbing a clean pair of tongs so I can use that to get the bottle parts out of the boiling water, and going to put those in one of the pots of water and then the pacifiers in the other. And so this actually did take a very long time to do, just because it's the first sanitizing of every single item that we have. And first of all, you don't want to have too many things in the pot of water, because if it gets stuck to the side of the pot, that plastic might melt or burn. So you want it to be able to move around in the water a little bit. And second of all, because our drying rack is only so big, and I really wanted to dry things on the drying rack and not like a dish towel that could still be dirty. So this drying rack is just for bottles and clean and sanitized baby parts. So I just kind of did it in rounds, let things fully dry on that drying rack, and then would come back a couple hours later and do the rest of it. I'm just kind of going to share round one. I didn't share absolutely everything because this, again, was a very long process. But I read all the instructions again and made sure all of these different bottle parts could be boiled, and that was the recommended way to sanitize it for first use. And I say for first use because I think it's different with the first use versus daily use. I know for daily use, I may get some baby soap like Dapple or something just to clean the bottles out. And then for sanitizing, there are sanitizers that I'm looking at potentially purchasing. I know there's some really fancy ones that sanitize and dry. There are some where you can use the microwave to steam clean. Some people use their dishwasher. So there's a ton of different methods, but just based off of the instructions for all of the bottles and pacifiers that I read, the first use is boiling in hot water for 5 minutes, clean tongs onto a drying rack. So that's what I'm sticking with for the first use.
It's not much, but it's all I have. You know we could run to a place where we belong, but I need you there with me to go on. Sometimes I can't see, but it feels like
There were also some items that weren't the bottle or pacifier category that I still wanted to clean off. Some of them I am going to use just like a baby soap and wipe off, and the other ones I decided to actually use the dishwasher. So we have a half dishwasher downstairs. Haven't used it yet before, so it's taking a little bit of moving things around, and I'm going to load up this dishwasher, and I'm thinking it could be really useful for baby bottles and baby stuff. I don't know if I'm going to want to go upstairs and downstairs, but for now, it's kind of nice to have something that's just clean and doesn't have a bunch of gross food in it and doesn't sit there for a long time, so we can run a load of wash for just baby stuff. So that's what I'm going to do, and load it up with all of the food items. These things probably won't be used for quite some time until he's eating solid foods or starting to try those foods, and a couple of teethers and things that the instructions say it's fine to dishwash. I had put everything into the drawers of the bathroom just to keep things off of the countertops, but before I started filming the video, I pulled out everything so I knew exactly what I had and put them into kind of categories by like bath products, medicine. We have a whole bunch of stuff for his teeth, which I'll show you in a little bit, but I wanted to start with kind of more of his medications and things like that. But before I do that, I was opening up a Frida baby product that's meant for cradle cap and to help him in the bath. And for the life of me, even looking at the instructions, could not figure out how to get this on the little cradle stand that it has for the brush. So I was reading the instructions and trying to figure it out. And if you've watched any of my other postpartum prep or baby videos, you know that I am keeping a lot of these instructions, even if I am unpackaging things, because I am a first-time mom and I don't know how to use a lot of these things. So the medicine, as I'm taking it out of the packaging, I really want to make sure it has all the proper dosing on the bottle if I'm going to throw away the box. But if it doesn't, then I need to hold on to the instructions of whatever it is.
I can't believe it's already over. Too late to talk and fix whatever's broken.
Some of these things were given to us. Some of these things I've been recommended that I have right away for when baby arrives. So it's kind of a combo of where I got these different things. And some of them were actually free in baby boxes. I think this little thermometer was actually free. So I wanted to get the batteries into it and make sure it works and get it all set up. I tested it on myself to see if it works, and it got my temperature pretty much normal there. So that seems to be working well. And then I have a friend who bought us another thermometer that's also Frida baby, and this one seems really cool. I think it's like a 3-in-1. Pretty sure that's what it is that it can be both a rectal thermometer and an oral thermometer, but also maybe an armpit thermometer. So it works different ways, and wanted to make sure this one works as well, which it seems like it does. So we have 2 thermometers, which seems like plenty to start with. The top drawers in this bathroom are very small. I found these organizers from the Container Store that do fit into the drawers here. I have one larger one, 2 of the little smaller ones, and then some long, thin ones. So I wanted to figure out what makes the most sense for the medication, what makes the most sense for different items, and organize it on the countertop first, and then stick it into the drawers. All of the medicine and thermometers fit pretty well into one, so I left that there and then started going through all of the tooth products we have here. Wanted to measure and make sure these teeth and gum wipes fit into the drawer upright before I put them into the organizer. My brother-in-law's girlfriend is in dental school, so she gave us a lot of these products as part of our baby gift. So we are set on little toothpaste and toothbrushes for quite some time now. I decided just to open up one pack. While I love getting rid of packaging, I didn't want to have all of the little bristles exposed and not covered, so it made sense just to pull one out and keep the other ones in their packaging.
Oh, Emily.
A couple other random things here. I have our baby nail file, our nose Frida, and the Windy. We have a lot of Frida baby products. The Windy helps with gas, and the nose Frida helps suck the snot out of their nose. So all of those miscellaneous things I'm going to get set up as well.
Into my heart I cannot lie. Stars made of stars up above, made to fall. Stars.
I used one of the smaller thin bins for lotion, and most of them are lotion samples. I didn't buy any of those. Those were from free baby boxes. You'll see I have some full-size products that I registered for. Those I'm going to stick somewhere else. So that's one drawer down, and then in the other drawer, it's going to be all the medication supplies.
Life is so much more than this. So where do you go when nothing's like home? I'm going for the goal. Turning off the cruise control and taking away.
Down low, I put all of his backup toothbrushes, and then I have some extra little washcloths here. And I started by folding them and then realized I don't really think that makes a ton of sense. I don't think there's any benefit to folding them. So even though I tried to get them all nice and neat and file folded, they didn't really look that neat to me, and actually looked better when they weren't folded. So I unfolded everything that I just folded.
My life's just begun, son.
Here are the full-size bath products that I have, and like I said, that I registered for. I've heard such great things about Tubby Todd, especially their all-over ointment and their diaper cream that helps with cradle cap and all these different things. So I got some sort of a newborn bundle, which I'm very excited to use. I love the smells of these things. I'm already obsessed with them and can't wait to use them. I'm just setting them up in the linen closet because I'm not sure where we're going to give him baths yet. We have a little bathtub that can really go anywhere. So it may be in this bathroom, it may be in our bathroom, it may be in the kitchen. Really a mystery at this point. So I'm just going to set him up nice and neat in a line in the linen closet. I know he won't be in this bathtub for a while and won't be sitting up in this bathtub for a long time playing with bath toys, but we have these products. I want to get him set up, might as well. So I'm getting the whale set up to cover the spout here so he doesn't hit his little head and get hurt, and it just looks really cute in a little kid's bathroom as well. So with that set up, I wanted to get the toy bin set up that we got as well. And we've had issues with a lot of the surfaces in the showers here that suction cups don't stick to them. I tried buying some squeegees for the guest bathroom and our bathroom to stick on the walls, and nothing was sticking. So I wanted to try once with this organizer to see if it would stick. Thought I had it for a second and it fell right off. But the cool thing about this product is that they have a mounting circle that you can use if your shower surface doesn't quite work. So that was a great alternative, and I stuck that on the wall, and then the suction cup worked great. So the current toys that we have right now are these little ones that my mom bought us. The top and bottom of each animal screws off, so you can't get any mold stuck in there. And if you do, you can clean it out really well, which is lovely, because I don't want any bath toys with mold in them and then him sticking them in his mouth and getting mold, and that's just gross and unsanitary. So those are great fun. And then we have these pipes and gears, which also can't collect mold because they're open, and he will not need these for quite some time. So I thought about opening them and then decided he's really far off from using these, so I did keep them in the packaging. Now is your sneak peek of the nursery. We left 3 of the walls gray. That was the color that the previous owner had. And then I painted one wall, or rather my parents helped paint one wall this green color. And above it, there actually is a sign that has our baby boy's name up there, but I'm not ready to share all of that yet. If you follow me on Instagram, you also know that I wanted to get some sort of a fake tree or large plant because we're going with a jungle theme in here. So I wanted to bring more greenery, bring that green theme, bring the jungle theme into here. So I bought this tree from Target. I still haven't taken the tag off yet. I kind of want to wait and see what everything else looks like. I washed a couple of the cutest baby towels. I'm in love with the elephant one with the little elephant ears. So I'm going to hang those up and head back to the nursery because I also washed the sheets that go with our pack and play. There's a crib sheet and then a bassinet sheet. Here's the rest of our baby gear. It's a sneak peek into the closet. It is a mess in there, but we are so blessed and lucky to already have so many items for our little baby. We have so many books already. It's crazy, but I know he's going to love them and we're going to love reading books to him. So it's going to be really fun to have those. I also snuck in the cover for my pregnancy pillow in that load of wash. And thank goodness Jim walked in because I was seriously struggling, which I didn't understand why it was so difficult for me to get this cover back on the pregnancy pillow. I've washed it multiple times before and thought it to be relatively easy. You can see Jim turning the air conditioning on because I was starting to get overheated putting this thing on. But he finally decided to intervene and take over after the two of us tried for a little bit back and forth to work on it together. But he brought it over to the bed to finish it off and realized that I hadn't fully unzipped the cover. So if I would have just unzipped it, it would have been a heck of a lot easier.
It's just some space and some time, then I'll be alright. I've been having thoughts in my mind, I can't get out. Tell me things I can't say myself from you and nobody else. Everything. So wish me good luck. Yeah, I gotta put on my favorite song. I need a boost. Let's turn up the love. No, it is way too late, but I just can't get my eyes off you.
Okay, so I have a bunch of the other ingredients I'm going to use to make these breakfast sandwiches already sitting out. I have some English muffins, some bagel thins, some cheese, even more bacon. But for now, I'm going to start getting the eggs cracked and getting those cooked in the oven while I continue to cook all of the bacon.
I'm going in, so wish me good luck. Yeah, I gotta put on my favorite song. I need a boost. Let's turn up the love because it's on. Ooh, ooh, keep my fingers crossed.
My favorite thing about making freezer breakfast sandwiches is you can completely make these whatever you want them to be. So I'm obviously using whole eggs here. You can use just egg whites if you want. You saw that I had some little chicken sausage patties. I have bacon. I actually meant to purchase turkey bacon, but I did an order pickup and clearly ordered regular bacon and just made that mistake, but that's fine too. So you can do no meat or anything else. You can also mix up the different cheeses that you want. You can feel free to chop up some veggies and put those in your eggs before you put them in the oven. Like I said, I have English muffins and bagel thins. You can mix up the bread. It's completely what you want. So these things are very versatile. I'm using donut trays, especially because I have some bagel thins and just filling them most of the way up. Some of them I'm filling up a little bit further so that hole fills in more and puffs up, and those ones I will put on the English muffins, and the ones that keep the whole shape a little bit more I'll put on the bagel thins. So I'm grabbing some parchment paper and going to wrap them in parchment paper. That's one way to do it. You can also use saran wrap or tin foil, but today I'm going to use parchment paper. Just kind of fold up my cheese a little bit on each piece of bread and add some meat, and I'm going to mix up the way that I'm doing it. So I'm going to do some with cheddar cheese and the chicken sausage patties and some with the pepper jack cheese and bacon and kind of mix up the combos so it's different every time. But you'll see I do fold the edges of the cheese a little bit because I don't want it to melt too much off of the sandwich once I reheat it. So I'm just rolling them up into the parchment paper and making these little wraps around each of the sandwiches to prevent as much freezer burn as possible. And then I'll put them all inside of a freezer safe Ziploc bag after that. But for reheating, what I usually do is stick them in the microwave first, sometimes up to like a minute and a half, and then pop them in the toaster to finish them off and get them nice and toasty. So you can skip the toaster step, but I definitely wouldn't skip the microwave step because if you go straight to the toaster, the egg part in the middle is usually not all the way thawed out and you have warm edges of your sandwich and a very cold inside. So make sure to microwave them first. The cooking of the eggs also really depends on the size of your trays that you're using, whether you're using donut trays like I am or muffin tins, and just how much egg you put in there. So I put it at 350 and just kind of monitor it. It usually takes 10 or so minutes for the eggs to cook, and you can tell when they're cooked all the way through and there's nothing runny.
I'm waking up right in the middle of the night again. Was it a dream? I'm trying to figure out what's happening. The memories are haunting me. I dream about your smile, your body lying next to mine.
I separated them into two different bags, one for chicken sausage and one for bacon, and made sure to label them with what they are and the date.
You were mine, then she walked away. She's the one who got away. Try to make her stay. She's the one who got away. I cannot forget her, thinking when we could have been. It's a little late. She's the one that got away. She got away. She got away.
Okay, so for this next recipe, I'm gonna make chunky monkey pancakes. They're gonna be a little bit of an indulgence, but I'm gonna try using some whole wheat flour. There's gonna be chocolate chips in there, bananas, and you can add nuts if you want. So I'm gonna start with the dry ingredients. And I'm just doing a double recipe of this. So I'm gonna do 2 cups of flour to start.
Feel her body next to mine, yeah. By my love, all you
And for the rest of my dry ingredients, you're gonna do 4 teaspoons of baking powder if you're doubling it again, 2 teaspoons of baking soda, and half a teaspoon of salt.
make her stay. She's the one who got away. I cannot forget her, thinking when we could have been. It's a little late. She's the one that got
So to that mixture, I'm adding 1.5 cups of milk, 6 tablespoons of melted butter. So I'm gonna pop that in the microwave, get that melting, and then 4 eggs.
Does she think about me every now and then? Maybe she was right, we couldn't just be friends. It's been hard for me, so hard to understand. Then she walked away. She's the one who got away. Her stay. She's the one who got away. Cannot forget her, thinking when we could have been. Oh baby, little late.
I'm also adding in 2 tablespoons of sugar and 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. And then I'm going to chop up 2 cups of banana, followed by just over 1 cup of chocolate chips.
I'm always one step behind, wishing I could read your mind, but I'm ready, yeah, never ready. I wish I could have made it stop the first time that you stood me up. I wasn't ready, yeah, never ready. Like a forbidden fruit, I'm still waiting for, I'm still wanting more, yeah. I know just what to do, but still I want all of you.
Pancakes are always another really good one to freeze ahead of time as well. I thought about making some waffles too, so that might be something else that I do before baby arrives. But having these breakfasts on hand will be great for in the morning, especially when I'm just overwhelmed and I get really hungry the first thing when I wake up. And if I'm going to have a breakfast like this, it usually keeps me pretty full for a while. Now, I've heard if I end up breastfeeding that a lot of times you need more calories when you're breastfeeding and you just get really hungry. So maybe it won't last quite as long as it usually does. But having a nice hearty breakfast typically keeps me pretty full. And like I said, I wake up really hungry, so it's nice to have this right away. These pancakes aren't necessarily healthier pancakes, especially because they have chocolate chips in them. So even if I don't end up eating them for breakfast, they could make a great snack throughout the day. I might even have them for lunch. There are no limits for me when it comes to breakfast foods for other times of the day.
Sorry, tell me what's your deal. Do you ever wonder how I really feel? Every time you turn your
On to the lunch and dinner foods. We're gonna make Instant Pot butter chicken, and I'm gonna use my super cubes to freeze this. So my plan is to do like a layer of rice at the bottom, then the butter chicken on top, and freeze it in individual portions. So I have my Instant Pot on saute already. I cubed up some chicken thighs. It should be about a pound, maybe a little bit more. And I'm gonna salt that. Add in a 1/4 cup of ghee to the bottom. And then you can do anywhere between 4 and 6 cloves of garlic in your Instant Pot, as well as a tablespoon of ginger. Okay, now I'm adding in a teaspoon of salt, a tablespoon of gram masala, and 2 teaspoons of curry. I'm gonna mix that real quick. And then I'm also gonna throw in 2 teaspoons of paprika. I'm just adding in a can of crushed tomatoes. It's 28 ounces. So add that in and then stir that nice and good so the spices don't burn at the bottom. I'm gonna toss in the chicken thighs that are cut into small pieces and then put the Instant Pot on a 5-minute high pressure setting and let it cook.
If you're playing with fire, you might get burned. Let the flames go higher. Just make me believe in love when you're...
If I could make most, if not all of these meals in my super cubes, I would. And these are the containers that I'm using just to put the rice at the bottom and then the chicken on top. But the downside of making all of these meals in one day back to back is that I don't have enough super cubes to do that. And they won't freeze fast enough to pop them out of there. But I love them so much so you don't have a giant casserole dish that goes unfinished. You can thaw out 1 portion at a time, 2, 3, 4, for however many people you have. And you can just take out exactly what you need. I think this is sauteed enough. It's nice and thick. I'm just gonna spoon it over my little cups full of chicken and rice here, and then we'll freeze it that way. I did add in half a cup of either whole milk, heavy cream, or full fat coconut milk works great.
Blinded by the way that I wanted us to be.
The next recipe I'm gonna make is a skillet chili mac. So it's like a mac and cheese, but in a skillet with things that make it kind of like a chili. So I have kidney beans and things like that, tomatoes. So I already have the water boiling for the pasta, and then I'm just gonna get to chopping my vegetables and showing you all the things that you can dump in there. Pastas are a really easy dish to freeze ahead of time. So this is actually a new recipe, but I am excited to give it a try and hopefully it works. Even if this pasta dish isn't something in particular that sounds good to you, most pasta dishes are great options for freezer meals as well. I've done some freezer mac and cheese recipes, any kind of pasta casserole type thing. And since this is a combo between a pasta and a soup, very prime for freezing. And as an update, Jim and I did try some of this recipe as well. I saved a little portion and didn't freeze it, and we had it for dinner this night, and it was a hit. Don't worry, I would have removed it if we both didn't like it. So I've added 1 medium stalk of celery. I did 2 green bell peppers. I also added in, that's way too much salt. I also added in 1 medium onion diced up, then 3 tablespoons of chili powder, half a teaspoon of salt, and then I'm going to mix this up. Add in 3 or 4 cloves of garlic, and then a pound of ground beef. Once everything's no longer pink, I'm gonna add in 14.5 ounces of beef broth and 28 ounces of diced tomatoes in a can with all the juices and everything. And then I'm going to bring this to a boil. So now that the pasta's cooked and drained, I added that in there, and then I drained a can of kidney beans. I'm gonna toss those in, and then I'm gonna fold in half a cup of Greek yogurt and about a cup of cheddar cheese. And then it is done, and I'm gonna put it into a serving dish to go straight ahead and freeze, and then I can just reheat it from there.
I'm in love with all your lights and your colors. I'm in love with all your nights. But you've kept me far away from my focus, and to my heart I cannot lie.
I did get some smaller tinfoil containers as well to use in the freezer since I didn't have enough super cubes to use, and again didn't have enough time to freeze them enough to pop them out of the super cubes. So this size is a great option as well. Probably one of these things can satisfy both Jim and I for a meal, and it's not going to have any leftovers.
Air is getting heavier, but I do my best to breathe. Dreams of green and filled with bliss. Life is so much more than this. So where do you go when nothing's like home? I'm going for the gold.
Now I'm gonna make some Instant Pot jambalaya. It has shrimp and sausage and chicken in it, and of course rice to make that delicious jambalaya. And it's a great meal that you can have right away, or a really easy one to freeze, and it should last for about 3 months in the freezer. So let's make that one now.
And you're no longer on my mind. Sun, warming sun, and my life's just begun. Sun, under the sun, I'll be fine and you'll be gone.
I made this recipe for the first time a couple of months ago, and it was a huge hit. It's full of flavors. Jim really likes that it's full of different types of proteins, and I love that it has some veggies in it, and it's really hearty, nice and filling. The recipe actually included some instructions on how to freeze it, so it's great as a freezer-friendly meal option as well.
But I do my best to breathe. But I do my best to breathe. Some green and filled with this. Life is so much more than this. So where do you go when nothing's like home? I'm going for the gold. Turning off the cruise control and take the long way home.
So I've done a pound of andouille sausage. I'm doing a pound of shrimp, and it's actually looking like it's pinked up just on the saute function of the Instant Pot. So I'm gonna pull that out and put it on the plate with the sausage. There you go, just got all that out. And then I chopped up 1 bell pepper that was red, 1 green bell pepper, and then 1 onion. So I'm gonna add that back into the Instant Pot, saute that for like 5 minutes, and then I'm gonna add in some spices and garlic after this is sauteed for 5 minutes. Okay, this seems cooked enough. Sorry if there's a ton of steam coming off of here, but I'm gonna actually turn off the Instant Pot, add in the spices. So I'm gonna do a bay leaf. I'm doing a teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of oregano, and then a ½ teaspoon of thyme and a ¼ teaspoon of cayenne pepper. So this just needs to cook for like 30 seconds or so, not long at all. And that's why I just went ahead and turned it off. And then I'm gonna add in about a ½ cup of chicken stock. And I'm going to try and get all the burned bits off of the bottom, so when we turn it to the actual Instant Pot mode, nothing gets stuck there. So I'm gonna scrape that. And you wanna get to 14.5 ounces. If you have a can of chicken stock, that's a lot easier. But I'm just measuring that out, so I'm gonna put in the rest of it now. Mix that up, and then you're gonna do 1 can of fire roasted diced tomatoes. And I also am gonna toss in a few cloves of garlic. I probably should have done this a couple steps earlier, but forgot about that. So I'm gonna stick 3 of these cubes in there if I can get them out. And then I'm gonna go grab my rice because that's next. Okay, so those tomatoes you don't want to stir in there. You just want them to be floating on the top. And then I'm gonna add 1.25 cups of rice straight on the top again. And you just wanna make sure the rice is submerged so it cooks. But again, don't like stir the whole thing up, just kind of push it down gently. And then I'm gonna add in my chicken thighs. So there's a pound of chicken thighs, and then there was a pound of sausage and a pound of shrimp. So a very delicious jambalaya. So I'm going to take these out of here and just kind of open them up and lay them all on top. Okay, I had to clean my hands off before putting the top on here, but I'm gonna put the top on, put it on high pressure for 20 minutes and then do a 15-minute natural release. And then after that, we'll toss in the rest of the shrimp and sausage. I'm gonna squeeze in some lemon juice and then a little bit of hot sauce, and then you're done.
Earlier you saw that I used the 2-cup trays to make that chicken and rice dish, and this is actually the 1-cup tray. And with this hearty of a meal, I could probably be just fine with 1 cup, or my husband might want 2 cups, or we might share some. So this 1-cup portion felt perfect for this dish.
The last actual meal that I'm gonna make is a chicken burrito casserole, and I'm pretty sure it's Whole30 and paleo friendly, so a pretty healthy recipe. It has a few different layers to it, some chicken that's mixed with a cashew cheesy sauce, so it actually doesn't have real cheese in it. It uses cashews and nutritional yeast, which I do in a few other recipes that I like. But the good thing about that is I've heard a lot of times you can have dairy sensitivities when you are postpartum, or not you have dairy sensitivities, but your baby does. So it'll be good to have a few meals that don't have any cheese or dairy in them. And then if for some reason our baby does have a dairy sensitivity, you know, I could eat this meal and reheat a different meal for Jim, or Jim could eat some of the other ones with cheese while I eat something maybe more basic or something like that. But anyway, I am going to make this last meal and then we're gonna head to dessert. I'm gonna add to my skillet that already has olive oil in it a diced jalapeno, a medium yellow onion, and then a red bell pepper. I'm also gonna add in a few cloves of garlic, about a tablespoon or so of either lemon or lime juice. I have lemon, I don't have any limes. And then half a teaspoon of taco seasoning and 12 ounces of riced cauliflower.
Never up, never down, never. Like a flame in a song, clever. Feeling high, feeling low at the same time.
Let's make this cashew cheese sauce. So I am going to put in, let's see, a third of a cup of olive oil. And I probably could have popped the top of this off. I really like this dispenser, but it does go kind of slow. So I'm doing a third of a cup of olive oil and then 2/3 of a cup of warm water. Now I'm doing 2 teaspoons of taco seasoning. I'm gonna do 2 teaspoons of garlic powder as well. You can do a teaspoon of garlic powder and a teaspoon of onion powder, but I am all out of onion powder. So we're just gonna do 2 of garlic. I really like garlic, so that works out just fine. And then I'm gonna do a 1/4 cup of nutritional yeast. And then juice 2 to 3 lemons and add that to the blender as well.
I never think, I always do. Never thought I wouldn't jump. Oh, what a fool. But if I fall, I will get up again.
Last but not least, you need a little over a teaspoon of salt and a 1.5 cups of cashews, and then blend it up till it's nice and creamy.
This sauce was so good. I honestly would make it again and just do it with the chicken even. It was delicious. I was licking that spoon after I was done composing these meals. But to make the kind of casserole dish, I'm going to put that cauliflower rice at the bottom, followed by a layer of salsa, then a layer of chicken on top of that, and repeat it one more time. So another layer of cauliflower rice, salsa, and then chicken on the top, and you'll end up baking it in the oven after that.
My tattoos, just a remedy, 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 and the way you go, baby, don't you know, there's a remedy, 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 Drugs and cigarette smoke, is it the print you wanna leave behind? Get all those cold eyes cold looking, but say it bye bye. Before the moment slowly slips away. Get a little dirty, baby, nothing you ain't gonna take, yeah. Fire burning like I do, under my tattoos, just a remedy, 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 and the way you go, baby, don't you know, there's a remedy.
Last but not least, before I get all of this organized in the freezer downstairs, I have to make lactation cookies because I feel like how would this be a postpartum freezer prep video without some sort of lactation cookie or something like that. So that's what I'm gonna make last, and then we'll go organize. I'm gonna start by putting 12 tablespoons of butter into my mixer with 4 tablespoons of coconut oil and then a 1.5 cups of sugar, and beating it for about 4 to 5 minutes until it gets nice and light and fluffy.
I made these lactation cookies for my sister-in-law when they just had their twin boys a few months back, and tried them myself before I gave them to her and really liked them. And she also said she was addicted to them and asked for the recipe after to make them again and make another batch for herself. So these cookies are delicious.
Now I think that's nice and whipped, so I'm gonna add in 1 whole egg, 1 egg yolk, and then 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. And once that's combined, I can start adding my dry ingredients. And I'm gonna start with 3 cups of oats and a 1.5 cups of flour.
sorry. Did not do the best I could. You have high expectations. Don't I know that you've explained it? How I should prove myself to you, but I can't when I'm with you. I need to.
So then for the rest of the dry ingredients, I'm going to add in 5 tablespoons of brewer's yeast. This is what actually makes them lactation cookies. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 3 tablespoons of ground flaxseed, followed by the rest of the dry ingredients. So it's half a teaspoon of baking powder, half a teaspoon of baking soda, a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of cinnamon, and then I'm going to top it all off by mixing in a 1.5 cups of chocolate chips. And that is it, and then we will get to baking.
Those things for me. I don't mind complicated, but the line is crossed. I'm waiting for a sincere apology. But you can't when you're with me. You need to find a way. But you can't when you're with me. You can with everyone else.
I will say the texture of them is a little bit more on the hard side and crumbly side. They're not going to be like your typical chewy, ooey gooey chocolate chip cookie. As you could tell with all of the ingredients I put in there, there's a lot of oats and flaxseed and things like that that make it a very hearty cookie. So hopefully it'll be filling, which is really nice if you are breastfeeding, but also a little bit of a sweet treat. Finally, time to organize the freezer. So I'm using our basement freezer, which I feel so lucky to have a second fridge and freezer downstairs. I just figured this would be the best place to separate and have mostly our freezer meals. You'll see I do have some extra meat and stuff in the freezer there as well, but beyond that, I want it to just be freezer meals. I'm going to take an inventory before baby's born of all of the foods that I have in there, so I don't have to go back up and down the stairs, and I can easily just tell Jim, hey, I know that there is one recipe of whatever in the freezer. Can you go grab that and thaw it out for dinner tonight? I will also make sure to link the organizers that I'm using in the description box. They're meant for the freezer and they work really well for just normal freezer organization, but they also worked incredibly well to organize all of these freezer meals. Thanks so much for joining me for today's video. I hope you enjoyed all of these meals and a little bit of organization at the end. If you did, I would appreciate if you gave it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and until next time, I will see you guys later.
So these last minute things I really wanted to get done before he gets here to be as organized as possible. And I actually just brought in our bassinet. We're using a pack and play to start with. My brother and sister-in-law may have a hand-me-down bassinet that they're gonna give us, but for now we have this pack and play, which will work great. I wanted to make a little nursing cart or a spot that I can put all of the stuff that I might need in the middle of the night for when he needs to eat or wakes up crying, anything like that. I also wanted to make some baskets to thank the nurses at the hospital and a couple of other things. So we should get going because, like I said, there is a ticking clock and this baby boy is coming hopefully in the next little bit here. So let's get going.
What's your story?
If you saw my other baby prep video, I did a tiny bit by my nightstand here. I got a little nightlight set up for him and I put my pump over by my nightstand as well, but I really wanted to make this a little bit more functional for me. I know there's going to be so many things I'm going to want to have in the middle of the night that are easy for me to reach, and my nightstand is just not going to cut it. I don't want things to be really cluttered or overwhelmed or just to have a ton of stuff on top of my nightstand. That's just going to stress me out in the middle of the night, and it's going to be really hard to find what I'm looking for. So a nursing cart felt like the perfect solution. These are really popular, these carts in general. There's so many different uses for them, but for some reason, the new mom community has really latched on to these for nurseries or nursing carts or whatever you want to call them. But having one on wheels, if you have like a ranch style house, this could be extremely helpful, so you don't have to put a bunch of stuff into the nursing cart and also make a diaper caddy and all these different things. For me, I'm not going to carry the cart up and down the stairs. I'm going to have a separate diaper caddy downstairs, but having this one upstairs by our bedside is great. And I went with the black, first of all, because it matches our bedroom, and then after baby, we can repurpose it and use it. Maybe I was thinking in the gym and put some of our gym equipment there, or crafting stuff. The possibilities are truly endless, but I had to read the instructions to figure out how to set it up and was shocked at how quick and easy it was for me to set up. It came with a tiny little wrench tool, but other than that, I just used my hands and that's all I needed, and it really didn't take long at all to get this cart set up. With the cart all set up, it's time for the fun part, the organizing. I also grabbed some of these bins in a smoky color that matched the black cart a little bit and had dumped some things into the pack and play that I needed to sort through. So I'm going to do one bin kind of for pump parts and bottles and make one of the rows on the cart kind of for those pumping items. So I'm sorting through everything and figuring out in my mind the way that I want to organize it and what should go on top for easy access versus middle versus the bottom. I'm using another one of the bins to organize diapers. I'm pretty sure that's something I'm going to want easy access on top. So I'm going to put that on top. So I'm going to see what other products I have sitting here, and it looks like I have some milk storage bags, a little Haka, which is like a hand breast pump that doesn't require any sort of electricity or anything like that and can catch milk from the other side, and decided to put the pump and parts on the middle tier and diapers and wipes on the top tier, and then some little loveys and rattles for baby on the bottom, and needed to go grab a few more things from downstairs to complete the cart. And I've been doing some research on different things that are nice to have here, so I added like a water bottle and burp cloths and snacks, of course. I've heard that when you're breastfeeding, you're just burning a lot of calories in general. So I got these mini Cliff bars. There's so many different brands of mini little energy bars, and I never finish a whole thing. And when I'm hungry, I sometimes just want a couple of bites of something. So I thought this was a great thing to put on there. The little space back there by my nightstand is a perfect spot to put this. I may end up pulling it out maybe every night or just pulling it out in general once baby arrives, but this is a good spot for now. Just to run through what I have some diaper cream here. This is the Tubby Todd diaper cream. I have my Haka breast pump. I have some nighttime nursing pads, diapers of course, wipes. I have a nursery spray, room spray that I've made with lavender, that water bottle so I can hydrate in the middle of the night. And I also put a couple things there for me, like scrunchies. I like silk ones. Those are really nice in the middle of the night. And then some overnight lip balm. Like I said, the next tier down is all of the other milk supplies that I have. So I put my breast pump down there, those milk storage bags, the extra bottles that go with it, and then the pump parts as well. And finally on the bottom, I have burp cloths and those mini Cliff Bars that I mentioned. Those are going to be so perfect. And then in the bin on the far left that you can see, I have this little lovey star. It actually has his name embroidered on it, and a cute little lamb rattle as well. I did do some postpartum prep and didn't do this as a part of the postpartum prep video. I'll make sure to link that if you're interested. But I've heard so many things about having padsicles, and padsicles are basically like pad popsicles. You're going to stick them in the freezer. So the basic ingredients on the padsicle are mostly just witch hazel and aloe. I did a little drop of essential oil. I did a little drop of lavender. I read in a bunch of different recipes that lavender essential oils are nice to put on there as well. So I started by putting the aloe on, using a little spatula, moving it around, and then adding witch hazel. And I think the key that I've heard is that you want to saturate it enough that you're getting the benefit of those ingredients you're putting on there, but not so much that you're oversaturating the pad and it won't be able to absorb postpartum bleeding. Also, if you don't really put enough liquid on there or enough of the aloe on there, it's not really going to become a padsicle. It's not going to freeze. So you want to have that fine balance. And you'll see I started by wrapping the first few in tinfoil and then realized there was really no need to do that, and I could just keep it in its original packaging and leave it that way. I think I maybe made 6 or so of these. I didn't make a ton because just in case I don't love them or they don't turn out great, I don't want to have too many of them, and I can always make more and it shouldn't take too long to freeze them. So I'll have these to start with, and if they're really beneficial and I'm still bleeding or in pain, then I can always make more. The last thing I wanted to do was make some little baskets to thank the nurses for helping bring our baby into the world. Those nurses I know put so much into their work and sometimes are really overworked and are on their feet all the time. So I thought it would be nice to give them some snacks and stuff to grab and a little bit of self-care items as well. I think this may be a little bit of a new trend going on. This is also something that you find around on Instagram and Pinterest and things like that. And I think it is something that's really nice and hopefully they appreciate it. I've heard things that sometimes nurses can't accept, like a personal gift. So if you give your specific day nurse or a night nurse a gift, that they can't accept it, but they can accept a just general gift that you leave at the nurse's station. So I made 2 different baskets with all individually wrapped packages that people can just grab whatever they want. So I mostly did snacks, a couple drinks. I did some individual face masks and hair ties. I've also heard things that nurses really enjoy. They like having extra pens, so you can put some of your favorite pens in there. But I try to do a variety of like healthy snacks and little indulgences, and hopefully there's something for everyone in these baskets.
can feel the heat is rising, and that beat is hypnotizing. Oh, no, we run the show. Let's get loud, come on, lose control. Got to live.
Jim and I were debating kind of the timing of these baskets. My thought is that we bring them in the car with us to the hospital, but this is definitely not the priority to bring into the hospital with us as I'm in active labor. So I think we could leave it in the car and Jim could run to the car later and grab them and set them up at the nurse's station. He's worried with things like sparkling water that if we leave it out in the car in December, it could explode, and that it's not a great idea to leave it in the car. So we still have to think through the timing of it, but we live so close to the hospital, he could always run back and grab it.
Let's hit the club, time to make a move, make a move. We got it late, ain't got nothing to prove, nothing to prove. I can feel the heat is rising, and that beat is hypnotizing. Oh, no, we run.
Now that you've seen the before shots of the closet, it's time to pull everything out. And I actually have to pull things out kind of in stages because the closet is so packed, and not necessarily packed with clothing, but there's just a lot of stuff I've been putting in there to get up and off of the floors. Since we don't have nursery furniture yet, the closet is kind of the only place that I can put things right now. So I've been trying to store all of our items there, and then we will reevaluate once we get the nursery furniture. And I am still crossing my fingers that it's going to show up before the baby shows up. At this point, I'm hearing that it's going to be here maybe mid-December, so things will probably be pretty tight, but if not, at least today I can tackle the closet.
So I have these cute little closet dividers that I got from our registry at one of our showers that have little animals on them. They're super adorable. My mom said I needed more color in the nursery, so here's some more color. But I'm going to put these on the racks here so I can tell the difference between the different sizes of clothing. I don't have a ton that I think I'm gonna hang permanently, but since we don't have our nursery furniture yet, I might hang a little bit more of the clothing. We'll see, but I wanna get these all set up and get the hangers kind of divided.
Here is where I could use your input. So experienced moms, especially moms of boys, let me know what type of clothing you actually hang for a baby. Now, I could see a lot of different outfits for like a little girl that you might hang if you bought some more formal things like dresses and stuff like that, but having a boy, there's a lot less of that type of stuff in general, but also we're having a baby in the winter, and I just don't really see much of a point in having a lot of formal or really any formal outfits for the newborn and 0 to 3 month age unless we have specific photos or something. But even those early photo shoots at the beginning, I'm planning on having him swaddled in some or wearing like a very simple onesie or a knotted gown or something like that. So most of what we have for him when he's really little are just sleepers and little zipper footies and stuff. And I think for the most part, it makes sense to put those in the dresser. But let me know if I'm wrong and I should be hanging all of that type of stuff, or if there are other items that would benefit from being hung rather than being folded and put away in the dresser. So I basically just put the snowsuits and jackets and those things on hangers for now, and will await all of your advice and maybe rearrange stuff based on what you guys let me know and what else I can hang up there. So I'm going to move to the floor here and get into these boxes of diapers that I've bought. I'm hearing all different things all over the place, whether it's from you guys here on YouTube, on Instagram, some of the little forums that I'm on for pregnancy with other moms who are due in December, and for my brother and sister-in-law who just had twins. And I ended up buying 2 small boxes of newborn diapers and then 1 large Costco box of size 1 diapers. Worst case scenario, our baby is a newborn for a very short amount of time, or maybe even bypasses newborn, and we can save those for later with a future child or donate them, or I don't know. It's not a big deal to have just a couple of small boxes of newborn, but I figured it was good to have that size 1 as well, ready to go just in case he's in it for a short amount of time or goes straight to it. I also had some freebie diapers as well as 1 small pack that a coworker got me, so I'm opening those up too and getting all of those ready. And I think I'm going to have multiple places where I have diapers. I'm probably going to have a diaper caddy that I'm going to keep downstairs, some by my bedside. I'm also planning on putting some in the dresser that we have, because that's what we're going to use as the changing table. And then in the closet, I'll have backup diapers. I don't really plan on being that type of person that has a huge backup stock of diapers and wipes to the point where we need to store extras in the garage or in the basement or something like that. I think most of it can be in the nursery closet. So that's what I'm working with right now. I also have 2 full boxes of wipes. I have the water wipes and Pampers Sensitive. I've heard good things about both of those, so I thought I'd buy 1 of each box and figure out what we like. If we don't love them, we can always try a 3rd brand after we go through these, and from what it sounds like, we will go through these pretty quickly. Same thing with the wipes. I have some free samples here. Those I might actually put in my diaper bag or use them for on the go since they're smaller packs. I think that'll be really handy. And then I'm going to organize it the same way. I'll have some in our diaper caddy that goes downstairs, some by my bedside for middle of the night changes, and then some in the dresser once we get that for changing him, and then all the backups will go in the nursery closet. I've kind of been categorizing things into these wicker bins as I've been getting new baby products and kind of trying to pick things up as much as I can, but I want to go through everything, make sure the categories make sense, because today we're going to be making labels using my Cricut, and I want the labels to really fit what the different categories are. So I'm going to go through everything and get it as set up as I can. I did buy a couple of small organizers to go inside of these wicker bins because I noticed as I was sanitizing some of the teething items and more plasticky toys that might go in his mouth that I don't really want, after I've spent the time sanitizing them and sterilizing them, for them to float around the bottom of a wicker basket where a little piece of wood could get on a pacifier or on a teether or something like that. I wanted it to be a little bit more of a sterile space. So this clear acrylic organizer really helps. But the rest of them, I don't need organizers in the insides because it's mostly just toys or burp cloths and bibs and blankets that I'm folding. So 2 was definitely enough. I just grabbed some orange essential oil to get off the sticky residue. For some reason, the label on these containers was very stuck on there. So orange essential oil worked perfectly. Typically, you can use a citrus essential oil, so lemon works great too. I use Goo Gone around the house as well, and that is another great product, but with these teethers and things that might go in his mouth, I thought the essential oil might be a little bit more natural and a better choice in the nursery.
Or else you get song.
It's so funny the types of things that you collect when you are expecting a baby and the types of gifts that you get. This little boy has so many stuffed animals already. He isn't even here yet, and he has an overload of stuffed animals. I hadn't cut off any of the tags from any of these products yet, so I wanted to cut off those tags, as many of the tags as I could, and get that prepped and ready for him in advance. I have some really cute rattles here that fit the jungle theme that we're going for, like that monkey, a little elephant, a giraffe. He is also set on little plush rattles. These are adorable. And you'll see he even has baby sunglasses. Those are perfect in the smaller container. I'm thinking of putting kind of accessories in there. But with all of these rattles, this will be helpful to have some in different places as well. I'll have some probably that will go on the go with us in the car, maybe keep them in my diaper bag, some for downstairs. But then you'll see the other toys that I'm sticking inside of these acrylic bins. That's what I was talking about, those teether type things or plastic toys that can fit in there. I'm speeding these clips up a little bit because you don't need to see me cut off 100 different tags off of every single stuffed animal and toy. I want to get straight to the organizing as much as possible, but do know that sometimes these projects take a while. I like to bring my iPad around with me and like watch a TV show and make it a really enjoyable thing to go through all this stuff. I don't know how it could not be enjoyable going through all of this adorable baby clothing and baby toys, but it is nice to sit down and watch a show as well.
It doesn't really matter while wishing for something better. I try to fix things misunderstandings.
Here's another part that I had to speed up as well. These are all of his baby socks. I've washed everything, but I wanted to put them together into pairs, as well as all of his hats and a couple pairs of little shoes or slippers that he got. So I'm stacking all those hats on top of each other once I get the socks matched and putting his shoes in there as well. And this will be a little accessories bin, and it might evolve the way that I organize it. So I might put some of those types of clothing accessories into his dresser, but regardless, the label of accessories will probably still be nice to have in the closet. This bin I'm thinking is going to be like the mommy bin. So those are products that aren't necessarily specifically for him, but things that I will need access to. So those are extra boppy covers. And I actually had a Solly baby wrap that I will use to wear him around the house probably. That goes in the mommy bin. And then the larger bin I'm going to do as blankets. And then I pulled out the bibs and burp cloths, put that in the next small bin. And I also removed the swaddles that were in there. I think swaddles will go much better into the dresser, as well as all of his pajamas and stuff like that, so we can easily get him ready for bed. I think of the closet as more of a backup space, and his everyday clothing I want to be really easy for me to get to in the dresser.
I don't wanna waste my time.
Now I'm just trying to get a layout of how I want these bins and baskets to go, adjusting shelves per usual, if that's something that I feel like I need to do. And I am going to get his books set up. Still hoping that we might do a bookshelf at some point in the nursery, but it's really hard to figure out what other furniture we might want, whether it's an actual bookshelf or floating shelves, without having that basic crib, rocker, and dresser in there first. It doesn't really make sense for us to buy other things without having that first. So I'm holding off, and we're just going to put all of his books into the closet. And he has a lot of books. If you thought he had a lot of stuffed animals, he has a ton of books. And that is partly because I saved a bunch from childhood, and my parents were gracious enough to let me keep it at their house. So I brought all of those books over to our new house, and we've been gifted books. So he has plenty of baby books all the way through like elementary school age books. The other thing I was really excited about with nursery organization is that there can be a little bit more color, and a lot of things are colorful. So I really enjoyed organizing these books in rainbow order and bringing a little bit of color to the closet. I've always been the type of person that liked to organize my books by size until I started playing around with the idea of rainbow organization. And I just think it's kind of a fun look if that's what you're going for. And I like that the books are a little bit uneven and it's not necessarily by size, but it's still very aesthetically pleasing.
And it's all for you. It's all for you. It's all for you. It's all for you. I did it all for you. It's all for you. It's all for you. It's all for you.
All of his books didn't even fit on one shelf. I had to put all of the black and white colored books on a different shelf and put those above, so you can really see how many books he has. Another shelf I wanted to use as kind of a decor accent shelf, so I grabbed pacifiers and I'm sticking those into a little anchor jar there, as well as some of the baby books that I have and a couple of other items.
Keep you warm. I will.
All of these little books have animal tails on them and they're very themed with the room as well, so I pulled those out separately and grabbed one of the stuffed animals and set that up there for now, and we're going to refine that shelf in just a little bit. I also got some gray bins to put on the shelf of the closet, and I'm thinking I'll have these as like the true backup. So one of those bins is going to be just miscellaneous backup supplies. One's going to be kind of backup toys. Another one is going to be specifically for diapers. And then the last one is a really great tip, pretty much for kids no matter what age you have, but especially if you have young kids. I'm making one of the bins a too small bin, and that is going to be for all of the clothing that he grows out of. And yes, you could easily take all of that down to your basement or wherever you store things like that, but I just figure he's going to be moving through things so quickly, and it doesn't always go in the pattern of, okay, he's fully moving out of all of his 0 to 3 month clothing. I'm going to remove all of that. Sometimes you try one outfit on and it no longer fits. So it'll be easy to toss it in there and not worry about it. We also put up this cute little jungle growth chart that a subscriber sent me. So this also brings in the jungle theme.
Till I met you at the concert the other day. The whole room lit up with
Now I'm just gonna grab my Cricut supplies. I'm gonna use my Cricut Joy as well as some smart vinyl and other supplies and tools to show you how I can not only label the nursery closet and help bring that final organization together, but also do a little bit of some crafting. So let's grab all that stuff and I'm gonna take it upstairs.
peel off a layer and breathe. Lift up your head and lead. Count the stars up before you leave.
You'll see I took that O from the decor shelf. Yes, his name does start with an O, so I wanted to paint that white and do a little bit of a craft with that later. So I wanted to get that paint drying as quickly as possible. So that's what I started with before moving on to my Cricut.
Oh, I used to see colors, now it's gray. Till I met you at the concert the other day. The whole room lit up with warm, sunny rays.
The first thing that I'm doing is getting all of the labels that I want cut set up in my design space, and I'm doing it from my phone. The Cricut Joy is awesome because all you need is your phone. It's compact and portable. You saw me just carry it upstairs in a little carrying pack, but I can do everything via Bluetooth, and found these cute little leaf images from the Cricut Design Studio They were free, and I'm gonna match them to the colors of vinyl that I have. I have a few different greens that I'm gonna play around with and make a bunch of leaves to put on that O that I've painted white. And I'm also going to get a little creative with my lettering and make those colorful and green as well. I'm usually so stuck in my ways with my labels, making them either black or white depending on the bin clips that I use, but this is an excuse to get a little more creative, have some fun, and bring in some color. So you'll see I have my 3 vinyl colors ready. I have everything laid out, so I'm going to press the next button and get it all set up to cut, and I'm dragging things around so I just don't waste any extra vinyl and use it up as best I can. And I'm going to show you how easy it is to cut.
You said it was the last time, but you keep coming back to tell me sorry that you take back all the things you said just to hurt me. Our love just went cold, but I'm still burning. Our love just went cold. Why? I keep on making the same mistake. I always let you back in when I begin to get myself together again. You are back once more like everything's the same. I tried to build my walls up.
Okay, so I want to show you exactly how easy it is to use this Cricut Joy machine. As you saw, I got all of the cuts ready on my phone, didn't even have to pull out my computer. It's going to connect via Bluetooth, and I set up all 3 colors of mats, and these are smart vinyl. So you don't even have to use any sort of cutting mat. You're just going to use the vinyl, stick it into the Joy, press start on your phone, and that's it. So I'm going to get it going, and you can watch it happen.
So it's really cool. The Cricut Joy will pull your vinyl through the machine first and measure it, make sure you have enough of the material, and then start cutting. So the really nice thing is that I don't have to worry about pre-cutting the vinyl. I just let it run straight from the full roll and then have it cut my design, and then I'll snip off the excess after that. And once I get that first sheet done, I'm going to pop in the second and start weeding away the excess from the first one while the second one's cutting. And the process is called weeding. That's pulling away all of the space that you don't want and just revealing the labels that you do want to keep. So every little space in between letters like O or D or B that have little spots there that you're going to pull out, you want to pull those things out and then pull the rest of the backing away.
To get over you, I keep on making the same mistake. I always let you back in when I begin to get myself together again. You are back once more like everything's the same. I tried to build my walls up, but you're taking them down. It's tearing me apart.
You'll see as I pull it away, I like to cut with the scissors just to make sure I don't pull everything off at once and inadvertently pull off a part of the label that I actually want to keep. So that is a little trick there, but if you're nice and slow and watching what you're doing, it's usually not an issue. So many of you are very perceptive, but you might notice that there are a couple labels where I made mistakes. So I made one mistake where I made a label say too big instead of too small. As I was explaining earlier how I want to have a bin for clothing that's too small. By accident, I made the label say too big. I obviously was not thinking. Maybe that's pregnancy brain. But I also made a label that said sheets and misspelled the word sheets. So I had to reprint that one as well.
Watching you smile, watching you smile. And I can't get over you, I'm losing my mind. All of the things that I
The last step really of getting these labels prepped and ready to go to put on your surface is to apply transfer tape. This is this clear sticky tape that I'm going to put on top of everything, and you can press on it so the labels adhere to it, and then I cut out each individual one and gently peel it off. Your label will be sticking to that surface, and then you apply it to wherever you want your label to go. So I'm grabbing my Container Store bin clips. These come in a few different colors: white, black, gold, silver. They even have some acrylic bin clips there, but I'm using the white color to keep it nice and simple. And you'll see how I can peel off the backing of the label, use the transfer tape to apply the lettering, and get the exact look that I'm going for. And hopefully you're not looking at this thinking this process is complicated by any means. I will say it takes some time with your first and maybe second time using these machines, but once you get the hang of it, it is so simple. You're going to want to label your entire house. So not only did I do 2 different colors, but I did 2 different fonts. I put a poll on my Instagram asking you guys which was your favorite font for the nursery, and these were the top 2. So I figured how fun would it be to mix the 2 different fonts together, and I followed what you guys said and took your advice, and these are the top 2. I finished off those bin clips and then back to the craft because the letter O is nice and dry. So I'm going to apply all of those leaves around and fill the whole thing up basically. I really wanted to bring the jungle vibes with the 3 different colors of green. And it's fun to use the Cricut for other projects. Besides just my standard organizing projects, this was a little more fun and creative and crafty.
All of the things that I wish I could tell you every time when you're passing me by. I fall in love. There's something about you. I wish you were mine.
I will skip ahead though because this took some time for sure. I was still watching a show on my iPad, so time flew by very quickly for me, but I want to show you what the final after product looks like.
I'm in love. Something about you, I wish you were mine.
It's time for the final touches and getting everything set up. I'm putting the bin clips on and then going to work on rearranging that little decor shelf that I have and putting the last few things into the closet and getting those all nice and neat.
I'm feeling kind of lost when your mind is hiding whatever that is choking your chest. I can see it in your eyes that you're shaking 'cause you're holding it back.
I felt like there was a little bit too much on this shelf, so I got rid of that plant and moved the pacifiers to be kind of like a bookend and gave it a little bit more space. Then the floor of the closet, I'm putting all of his jungle stuffed animals into a little bin. I decided to use the one that says toys on it instead and repurpose the other bin somewhere else in the house. So I have those stuffed animals. I have a little basket here that is a laundry hamper for all of his dirty clothes from Target. And then I'm going to stick our Boppy in the corner there. And yes, I do know that that Boppy was recalled, so don't worry about it. We're still deciding what we want to do with it.
Oh,
am almost 35 weeks pregnant. So it's definitely time. I don't want to get caught off guard. I want to be organized as possible about all things baby here. So I want to make sure I have my hospital bag packed early and ready to go. I'm sure it's probably a little bit of a first-time mom thing to want to pack things early. I know people pack it even earlier than this, but I'm excited because this video is in collaboration with my friend Alyssa, who's over at Dreaming of the Farm. The two of us connected on Instagram. She has a YouTube channel too, so she's going to be sharing what's in her hospital bag. She's about to become a third-time mom, so she is a mom to 2 girls already, with her third on the way. We don't know if it's a boy or a girl yet, but her third is on the way, and so she's going to be sharing all of her tips. I'm definitely going to make sure to watch her video after mine because I could use some help, and I'm sure what a first-time mom packs versus what a third-time mom packs is very different. So make sure to head to her channel, watch her video if you're interested in mom life things. She also is a mom who went through a VBAC, if that's something that's interesting to you. So she has lots of great content on her channel. But for now, we should get to packing my hospital bag because I have everything kind of laid out, but we need to go through it and get it all together. So the first thing I wanted to start with is all of the baby stuff. That's the most important thing. We're having a baby. I want to make sure I have all of the things that I've bought and planned for the baby. So I'm going to pack everything in my new diaper bag for the baby, which I'm really excited about. And I will try and link everything possible that I can that I'm mentioning throughout the video. So if you're interested, just scroll down and hopefully I'll link everything. But I got a Lulu Baby diaper bag that comes with a little changing pad in it, which is really nice. You can wear it as a backpack or you can throw it over your shoulder. It has stroller clips. You can clip it on your stroller. Super great. But I'm going to pull out the stroller clips for now and that part because I don't need that. And the things that I have for baby so far, I have a few going home outfits. That's obviously important. My brother and sister-in-law actually just had twin boys. Their twin boys are almost 4 months old at this point. So they're gonna be just a few months apart. So since they had twins, they obviously started in a preemie size. So I do have some preemie clothing and I thought I would just stick that in the diaper bag just in case I go into labor early or have a very, very tiny baby for some reason. I can obviously always pull it out. If you don't have preemie clothes on hand, I don't know if that's something you necessarily need to purchase, but they gave me all of that clothing. So I am going to pack this cute little koala outfit. And the pants actually have little koala feet on them. And there is a matching hat with that as well. So I'm gonna pack that up. And then I'm doing 3 different sizes because I have no idea what size our baby's gonna be. I don't know when I'm gonna go into labor. So I am also gonna pack a newborn outfit. My brother and sister-in-law got us this. It has cute little donuts on it. It's black and white from Monica and Andy. And I am going to pack a little hat that goes with that. And then I also have a 0 to 3 month size if we have a little bit of a larger baby. This is from Caden Lane. I bought this myself and picked it out. It is the softest fabric ever. And I just love it because it has these cute little blue rainbows. And if you are new to following me, this is our rainbow baby. I had a miscarriage back last December. So this baby has been long awaited and we're so excited for his arrival. So I thought this was just really sweet and a matching blue little hat. So I have a preemie size, a newborn size, and I have a 0 to 3 month size. So I have all of that. And then I also grabbed a couple of burp cloths, figured can't hurt. Might not need them actually in the hospital, maybe on the car ride home, who knows. They don't take up a lot of space. So I was gonna toss a few of those in. I have my portable sound machine. I've seen some people using these kind of in the hospital. Again, doesn't take up a lot of space. So I'm probably gonna just clip this on to my diaper bag and leave that there as well, and we'll have that option. because it's winter time, I was gonna throw in a little hat and mittens just in case it's freezing cold outside and he needs to wear this for a moment while we're waiting for Dad to pull up the car or something. Hopefully he's there and ready for us. But I also have a swaddle here, and I have a second swaddle that I'm planning on taking photos of our new baby in. So kind of matches the colors of the nursery you can see behind me. The green I really like. So I got this swaddle to take a photo of him and a little matching hat. And then I do have a wooden name sign that I purchased. It says his name on it, which I'm not sharing yet, but it'll be in the photo of him, hopefully wrapped in a swaddle with this cute little hat. And I actually got myself a matching robe to that whole set too. So I think this will be really nice for me to have in the hospital to wear. Might even just be like a layer over my hospital gown if I'm wearing the hospital gown, just to kind of keep me extra warm. I love wearing robes, so this will be nice. And then hopefully we can do like a little mommy and me photo in the hospital. Now here's where I could use your help. I have pulled out my Boppy nursing pillow, and I've seen on different lists that some people say it's nice to have, some people say don't worry about bringing it. It's obviously a little bit larger. So let me know in the comments below if you think I should bring this with me to the hospital or just forget about it and leave it at home and I'll be fine for the few days we're in the hospital. So that's it for baby. I'm gonna fold all this up and pack it up and let you see that, and then we need to start packing stuff for mom. But let's start packing this stuff. On to all of the stuff for me. I have everything laid out again that I want to pack for myself, and we'll kind of just go through it category by category. So again, like I mentioned, I have this robe for the little mommy and me outfit, but also I think it's going to be nice for me to wear. And other clothing I'm packing for myself to wear while I'm at the hospital is I have a nightgown here that you can button and unbutton. My plan is to hopefully be able to breastfeed, and this will be a lot easier for nursing just to be able to unbutton it, especially if I want to be able to get out of my hospital gown. I think this will be a good option, and then you can easily still, you know, get to what you need to get to in the hospital. And I'm also going to bring a pair of pajamas too. I don't know if I'll end up wearing these, but same thing. They button open, and a pair of pants. Might not be as useful in the hospital, but we shall see. So I have the robe, I have the nightgown, and then a pair of long sleeve pajamas. I'm also bringing myself some fuzzy socks, of course, that have grips on them. I've heard a lot of times if you don't have the grips on your socks and you bring fuzzy socks to the hospital, they actually won't let you get out of bed and walk around unless they have the grips on them. So I'm sure they're just worried about a slip and fall liability. So they want you to have socks with grippies. You can also pack slippers. I might toss in a pair of slippers too, or just like a second pair of fuzzy socks, just in case I'm there for a while and they start to get dirty. And I'm also bringing some flip-flops for my feet, either just to walk around the hospital floor, or if I'm gonna take a shower, I feel like I'd rather be able to wear some like flip-flop shower shoes that I can get wet. So these are old and perfect, and I used to actually wear them when I would shower at work in the gym shower. So they're kind of like my shower shoes. So that works out. And then other clothing I'm packing for myself. I got these like higher waisted, really stretchy, comfortable underwear from Amazon. So I'm just gonna toss in 2 pairs of these. I doubt I'll wear them when I'm at the hospital. Potentially I'll put on a pair when I go home if I'm not wearing those beautiful mesh undies that they give you at the hospital. I know that's oftentimes what you're wearing when you're newly postpartum, but thought this would be nice to have just in case. And then I am going to pack 2 nursing bras. I still need to wash these. They have the tags on them still. I got one from Target, and it's kind of like a sports bra one, and just kind of is your classic like nursing bra that drops down. So that'll be good. Again, need to wash it. And then I got lots of recommendations about these Kindred Bravely bras. They're both a nursing and pumping bra, so there's 2 different portions that pop down. So it's definitely gonna take some getting used to. It's very thick, but it sounds like it'll be very handy, especially for pumping that you can go hands-free. So I'm gonna bring both of those. And then in terms of a going home outfit situation for myself, it's gonna be December, so it's gonna be cold here. So I'm packing 2 different options, and there are even things I could maybe wear in the hospital as well. So first I'm bringing a nursing tank and an open cardigan. So that's something I could still wear in the hospital. I could toss on the cardigan. It's Barefoot Dreams and so soft. I could wear the nursing cami while I'm in the hospital as well. And then the other option for the top is I have a nursing sweatshirt if I want to just kind of cover up the tummy situation a little bit more. This nursing sweatshirt will do the trick and it will keep me comfy. And I'm bringing 2 different options of leggings. I've heard a lot of people say that you should pack like a 5-month pregnant size, whatever size you are when you're 5 months pregnant. That's like about what you might be when you leave the hospital. So I'm not sure. I'm packing a tighter pair of maternity pants that I have. So they still fit me right now, but they're definitely one of the tighter pairs of maternity pants I have. I'm gonna bring those, and then just a normal pair of leggings. I may toss in another pair of sweatpants, or I have my pajama pants. Another thing that I've heard is that a lot of times, like, you think you're gonna want to wear baggy clothing postpartum, but your stomach, you actually like crave that support. So hopefully between the leggings that are non-maternity, and like they still fit me now, I can stretch them, they will stretch, but they're definitely tighter, and my maternity leggings that'll give a little more room, I'll be able to find something that I'm comfortable in to wear home. The other thing for my body that I brought, clothing type thing I guess, is one of these like waist corset type, I don't even want to call it like a waist trainer, because again, I think a lot of women talk about how they crave that support around their belly when they're very newly postpartum, but even further along, that it just like feels good, but it also helps bring things back to where they need to go. So this one had some pretty good reviews, so I purchased it, and I'm gonna bring it with me, because if there's any time that people are saying you're craving that support and you want it, it's probably right after you give birth. So I'm bringing that with me. That's my whole pile of clothing. I feel like it's kind of a lot. Again, first time mom here, so let me know if there's something clothing wise I'm missing or too much of something. So after that, I have all my like toiletry type items here. So I have a couple of nursing pads. I know the hospital provides so many things, so I probably don't need these. My sister-in-law gave them to me. I'm packing a day one and a night one. I don't even know if my milk will be in and I'll be producing enough to be leaking. So just figured they're small again. I'll toss those in, as well as some nipple butter that I'm gonna throw in there. I feel like the hospital, again, provides like pads, those mesh panties, peri bottles, dermoplast, like things to take care of basically everything that's going on. Even with baby, I know a lot of times they provide swaddles, really nice swaddles, like halo swaddles, and they'll have all the diapers and wipes and all of that stuff taken care of for me. So I don't want to overdo it with that type of stuff, but I feel like a couple of nursing pads and some nipple butter I might need. I don't know if this is something they would have. I don't even know if I'll need it, but I have all that stuff. And then for my toiletries, I of course have a hairbrush. And then my basic toiletries here, I have some regular hair ties, and I like little hair clips for my flyaways, and then silk hair ties. I have a travel shampoo, conditioner, and like frizz cream. I got this for free as some samples, so it's perfect to bring with me. A mini face wash. And then I also packed some other little minis here, like eye makeup remover, eye cream, and a face serum and a face moisturizer. So these aren't like my favorite products by any means, but they're mini and work just fine. A little hairspray, toothbrush, toothpaste, deodorant. I like cotton rounds to like take off my makeup or take off my eye makeup, so that'll be good. And then I'm packing 2 chapsticks. And I also am going to pack a little bit of makeup, not a ton, but I am going to pack some because I feel like, especially if I'm taking photos, and I don't know, like sometimes it just makes you feel better about yourself a little bit. So I didn't pack a ton of makeup, but just kind of some basics. So I threw in some foundation and some little powder foundation there, and then a mini palette of eyeshadow and face powders there and blush. And then I have, let's see, eyeliner, which I'm dropping the top to, eyeliner, mascara. I have some brow gel, concealer, and then I'm just bringing 3 makeup brushes, 1 eye brush, 1 face brush, and 1 blush brush, and that's it. So that's all I have in the toiletry category. And then the only other things I'm bringing are going to be a phone charger. And I love this one. I shared it on Instagram, and it is called coily cables. I know that you need a longer phone cable just in case when you're at the hospital, if the outlet is far away from your bed, you don't want to have one of those really short ones. But these coily cables are awesome because they are magnetic. So I don't know if you can tell, but they click together and you don't have to use anything to hold the cord together and keep them organized. So this will be perfect to toss in my hospital bag because it just stays together like that. And I'm also going to have back part of the charger, and that's pretty much it. So I am going to use some packing cubes, pack this up, and stick it in a suitcase. I know a lot of people do like an over-the-shoulder bag, but I just want to have less stuff that I have to worry about carrying. So I'm going to just pack like I'm going on like an overnight trip and pack into my packing cubes, toss it into my small rolling carry-on suitcase, and we should be good to go. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Again, since I am a first-time mom, I know I've mentioned that numerous times, but I would love your advice. And I know sometimes it's weird that I'm opening up the world to all the mom advice, but I will seriously take it. I haven't gone through this before, so if there's anything that I'm missing or anything that you feel like I could probably leave behind, then please let me know. The only other thing I'll say is that there are a couple of items that you probably want to make sure you have on your packing list, and I'm keeping a list on my phone. I'm also probably going to put a piece of paper on top of my suitcase that just gives me a reminder for those last minute things. And some of those things might be like my ID and health insurance. I actually have my ID on the back of my phone all the time, so I have that with me, so I can't forget my ID. But my health insurance would be really nice. If you have a birth plan, you can toss that in your suitcase as well. I might bring my iPad with me. I really like to watch shows, and if for some reason I'm in a really long labor and want to distract myself, I might want to pack my iPad or my computer or something like that. And those things I'm not going to pack when I'm 35 weeks pregnant and let them just sit in my suitcase for 5 weeks. So it's good to have that last minute to-do list. But I am going to pack this up. I want to thank you guys so much for watching today's video. If you enjoyed it, I would appreciate if you give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to watch Alyssa's video as well if you want even more hospital list ideas. But until next time, I will see you guys later, and I'm gonna get to packing. Jim and I went downstairs because we wanted to start getting out all of the baby gear. Since we are so close to our baby boy's arrival, we decided that even though he might not be using this stuff from day one necessarily, we wanted to get it out and upstairs instead of having to deal with that once he's here. So each of us grabbed an armful of some of the awesome items of baby gear that we have. And the first one we wanted to set up was our Bluetooth swing. This thing is so fancy and really cool. So the two of us had to set it up together. I grabbed the instruction manual. Isn't that what every woman does as the men just start to try and figure out how to put it together? But we figured it out and we got to test it a little bit. I found the remote control and we played around with the speeds and the sounds that it can make and all that type of stuff. So hopefully he likes this. I know a lot of times with baby gear, some babies love certain things, other babies hate other things, and some want to be swung forward and backwards, and some want to go side to side. So again, hopefully this is something he's gonna like because the technology on this thing is pretty cool and it's super light. That was one of the reasons that I wanted this, was because you can fold it down really easily, and even if you don't fold it down, you can carry it with one arm and carry a baby with the other arm and move it from room to room, and a lot of swings are not like that. I was also explaining to Jim what a bouncer is and when he'll use this, and the fact that, you know, when he's really little, if he sits there and he's not quite kicking his legs yet, that you might have to bounce it for him. And as he gets older, he'll be squirming his legs around and it'll bounce it. Now that those baby items are out, and again, we did leave some down in the basement closet there that it's going to be months and months till he's using. We left those downstairs, but
Once I figured out how to get that insert into the diaper caddy, I wanted to go through my diapers and figure out what sizes we got. A few friends and family got us some diapers, and then some I got from free little gift boxes, but we haven't purchased any ourselves. So I need to go through and figure out what size these are and try and put some newborn size, I think, in the diaper caddy to start. I need to buy maybe a box or two of newborn size and still need to get maybe a Costco size box of size 1 to start off with. And the ones that weren't in packaging are actually really cute. They're from my brother and sister-in-law and have little sayings on them. They're really funny. They wanted us to have like truth or dare things or funny questions on the diapers for middle of the night feedings and stuff, like this one that says, "Change this one with your eyes closed." Super funny and cute. So those will be fun to have in our diaper caddy. I'm also going to, of course, add in some wipes. We have these Pampers Pure ones and some Tubby Todd diaper paste, of course. Some petroleum jelly. My sister-in-law told me that's important to have, especially with little boys at the beginning. And I'm also going to stick in some lactation snacks there. A couple of samples that you can add into your water, one little bar, and then a snack bar for myself and a nail file for baby. This, I've gotten lots of recommendations, is much better than a nail clipper. It's great to use a nail file like this and you're not afraid of hurting them. I have my portable sound machine I'm going to stick on here for now. Hand sanitizer has to be very useful with lots of dirty diapers depending on where I am in the house and if I'm able to get up. My brother and sister-in-law also recommended these little doggy poop bags that are much cheaper than the ones for babies to put dirty diapers in. I have a little bit of this baby lotion and a couple more samples I thought I might as well stick in here, like this little nipple butter and gripe water. I also have more samples like a little baby Windy and a nose Frida, so I'm going to put those in there as well. I think I can pull them out of the packaging and just cut up the packaging so I have the instructions for the first use till I figure out how to use them. So I'm going to do that, and I really think this is a caddy that's probably going to evolve as I figure out what I need in here, what I don't need in here, but here's what I have for now. Next up, we're going to get this unit above my toilet organized for all things postpartum and really all feminine needs in general. My husband doesn't need any of this space, so he said have at it and go for it. So I'm going to make this as easy as possible for me and have all of the things I have at an arm's reach. And this organizing project is truly specific to the phase of life that I'm in. I almost laughed at all of the little labels and stuff that I put in here and all the bins for these different types of things. And honestly, I think that's okay to have a space that's just maybe organized like this temporarily. I'm going to need things as easy as possible when I'm going through that postpartum phase. So to have it fit just this specific time period of my life is fine. It's not necessarily going to be organized like this forever and always while we live in this house, but it will be for now, and we would like more than one child, so it's possible this will be used again in the future, and I'll probably leave it like this in between kids. We'll see. So after I got the initial layout of how I wanted the bins, of course, I measured everything before I purchased it, but wanted to double check and make sure the bins fit well in there, and I knew what was going to go on what shelf. I brought it down to the floor so I could sit down and unpack all of the things that I have. And I am so sorry this little clip is blurry. It doesn't last that much longer. But I'm just taking out all of the main supplies I have. So maybe it's even better that it's blurred out as I'm unpacking my pads and my diapers for postpartum. That is the truth of what a lot of these things are. You'll see I have things like a box for tampons and some pregnancy tests that are left over and things like that. So some things for the future, but some things will be very needed in the exact moment we get home from the hospital, like those adult diapers, which I've heard are a great thing to have, as well as this Frida Mom Peri bottle and then some numbing spray and stuff. So sorry, this is the harsh reality of postpartum. I'm trying to get as prepared as possible so I don't have to go run out and get this stuff last minute or send Jim out when it would be helpful to have him with me. Same thing that I did in the diaper caddy. Because I haven't used these products before, I am going to cut away the instructions on the box just until I start to figure it out, and then I'm sure it'll become second nature and I won't need it. But I am going to get rid of as much packaging as possible and just save those instructions. My sister-in-law also gave me a full box of nursing pads. She didn't end up needing them, so I gladly took them just in case I do need them, put those into a bin. They're mostly the disposable type, but there are a couple of reusable ones as well that she gave me. So I did play around a little bit back and forth and made sure I had everything exactly the way I wanted it, and then was going to put everything back into where it belongs before I make some labels. As usual, I'm adjusting those shelves just to get everything exactly how I want it. If you have adjustable shelves, do not be afraid to adjust them to your needs. I wish we had one extra shelf in here because I could add more stuff, but it's totally fine. I can space things out a little bit more, and it's nice to have some extra room because that way I can easily grab things out of the bin and stick my hand in there without having to pull the entire thing out. So having a little bit of extra room isn't the worst thing in the world. Have to add a little bit of decor here in this open space. I got those plants from Costco, and then I made some fun labels using my sophisticated font and did kind of a dual font label on all of these, which I think turned out really nice. I will say it was difficult coming up with some of the labels in here. I know that this is not a space that other people are really going to see. Guests are not going to be up in our bathroom opening up our medicine cabinet. I guess maybe some people who would potentially be up there might be kind of nosy and peek in there, but these labels are really just for me. I tried to make them as generic as possible. Instead of saying things like hemorrhoid care, I said medical supplies, and I know what's in there, and it looks just a little bit nicer that way. Also, keeping labels generic is a great way to make a space last a little bit longer. These labels do peel off. They stay on really nicely, but if I want to peel them off, I can peel them off. So I can change them that way, but by having them be a little bit more generic, like saying feminine products, I can switch up exactly what that means depending on what phase of life I'm in. And as I'm going through pregnancy and postpartum and potentially pregnancy again and postpartum again, things are going to be changing back and forth and back and forth. So having generic labels, I think, will really help me.
Belong to you.
Up top in these extra large bins, I put some backup toilet paper and some backup Kleenex boxes as well.
It's 3 a.m. You got me waiting for your love. I'm at the corner of the club. It's pouring down, but I won't budge.
Finally, we're going to do a tiny bit of organizing in my bedroom. I'm mostly just putting these things over here for now. I think I'm going to get a little nursing cart to put in the corner here. That'll be super helpful during middle of the night feedings and that stuff. Putting my pump in here for now. Again, I'm not sure where I'm going to end up pumping, so I'm just sticking it in here, and I can always move it around. But I'm going to get it plugged in, as well as our baby nightlight. I got that plugged in, and since filming this video, I've actually used the baby nightlight numerous times. I just needed to charge it up. You don't actually need to keep it charged all the time. Jim even asked for one for his nightstand. It's been awesome to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night and just tap it so I don't run into a wall. I've actually gotten up early before Jim and taken it with me downstairs instead of turning lights on. I just grab it, tap it, and walk around like a little torch and carry it. So this thing is awesome even if you don't have a baby and need a little nightlight.
Hey, that's a cue for entry. I know those eyes.
Because I am just over 39 weeks pregnant, so this baby could seriously be here any day now. I know I've been saying that for a while, but being over 39 weeks pregnant, it does feel like at any point I could go into labor. So I wanted to get done as much as possible. So that's what we're gonna do today. I'm gonna take you around the house with me as I get some cleaning tasks done until my body says no more. So let's get going because my feet are already starting to hurt a little bit and there are some things that I need to get taken care of. So let's go.
I wanted to start in the bedroom and just get things picked up here. We just got a new bassinet. If you've watched some of my other videos, I had a larger pack and play in here. We were actually able to move that downstairs. So we'll have a safe spot for our baby to sleep downstairs, which is really nice. And my brother and sister-in-law just gave us this bassinet that their boys finished up with. One of my friends actually happened to be driving from Minnesota, where my brother and sister-in-law live, all the way to Denver. And she stopped through Omaha on the way and brought us this bassinet, which was really nice. So I got that all set up as well as our bed. Another thing that does need to be cleaned, I know, is our oven. There was a little bit of dripping that went on with a pizza that I made not that long ago. So that is something that I need to clean, but I feel like being so pregnant, that is not something I'm interested in cleaning right now. And it's something that can probably wait. I do have some methods for naturally cleaning ovens that I've used while I was pregnant, so I'm not using really harsh chemicals and things like that because that's something I've tried to be more conscious of while pregnant and something I want to continue to be conscious of when we have a baby, that we don't use a lot of harsh cleaners. But sometimes with an oven, you do need to use a little bit of a harsher cleaner or just use a little bit more elbow grease. And again, that's something I'm not really in the mood for right now. And the other thing I want to mention is you will see me wearing shoes throughout this video. And if you're wondering why I'm wearing shoes inside my house, these tennis shoes have never been worn outside before. They've only been worn inside my house. They're perfectly clean and the arches of my feet are killing me. So I felt like I had to wear them and felt so much more supported, and made me think that I should probably be wearing them more often inside. And it's kind of nice to have a pair of supportive house shoes like this rather than just slippers. This rug is actually a foam playmat. So it's made out of foam. It's not a carpet type rug. And we got it from our registry. A group of people went in on it together, and I am in love with it. I love that we have something that gives the room a little bit more life. It looks like we have a rug there, but it's going to be a play mat that's going to be perfect for our baby to crawl around on and have tummy time and all of that stuff.
No one will ever take me, no one will ever take me away from you. I promise I will hold on to you.
So here's that pack and play that I mentioned that we moved downstairs. We just put it behind the couch for now. I'm sure you saw all of the other baby gear in front of the couch. So I think it's going to stay back there because we have a lot of dead space there, and we'll kind of move things around as we figure out what works for us and as I'm on maternity leave and understanding what I'm using and where I want stuff. If you follow me on Instagram, you know the saga of this day. I was sharing on my stories as this day was going on. I was actually expecting our nursery furniture to be delivered and for us to have our newborn photo shoot the next day. But the guy came to the door who was supposed to deliver the furniture and said that another one of the delivery guys that was in the truck with him slipped and fell on ice at the previous house right before ours and actually hit his head. And so, of course, he was unable to help the other guy carry stuff up. It was supposed to be a white glove delivery service. They were going to bring everything upstairs for us, build it for us. The guy said the best that he could do was just to bring it into my front door and offered to reschedule for sometime the next week. But with the photo shoot being scheduled at our house, and I really wanted to do photos in our nursery, I just told him to bring it inside and we would figure it out. And I called Jim and told him I was going to do as much as I could while Jim was still working, because I seriously still wanted to try and get everything set up if we could and still keep this photo shoot scheduled as planned. Even though I got these parts of the crib up and was able to unpack them and stuff, we encountered two other issues. And the first one was that the dresser was way too large and heavy for Jim and I to get up the stairs alone. We really needed help to get it upstairs. And all of the drawer pulls on both the nightstand that we got and the dresser, they forgot to ship them. They weren't even on the delivery truck, so they forgot to ship them from California. So they are going to have to send those. We didn't actually even have an exact time for the photo shoot anyway, so the photographer that we hired was super nice. She actually just had a baby herself, so we agreed to push it back one more week. I think she probably appreciated the extra week with her newborn baby as well. And so hopefully by next week, we will have all of the nursery set up and can have our photo shoot the way that I kind of envisioned in my head. In the nursery, we'll also do some probably in our bedroom, maybe a few photos in the living room or in front of the house. She suggested that as well, which could be kind of fun. But some of you messaged me on Instagram and said just to keep going with the photo shoot and not to worry about it and to do photos in other areas of our house, which I totally see that point. But not having anything scheduled and set in stone, it really wasn't a big deal to me to push it back one more week. We'd already waited so long. And I really wanted to capture the moment of the cute little nursery that I've put a lot of thought into for Owen. And the other thing is, with moving into this house not that long ago and kind of slowly getting comfortable and decorating it, I don't feel like any other space in our house is fully decorated the way that I want it to be yet.
So when you first walk into the nursery, right to the right here, I have this fun gallery wall. The whole nursery, I wanted to do like a jungle theme, safari theme, whatever you want to call it, but I really wanted to bring in some light natural green colors and lots of cute little animals. So I found these prints off Etsy and then bought some frames to put them in and made a little gallery wall of all of these animals, and they're cute little baby animals, which I love for a nursery. And then below it, I have our little nightstand that is next to the rocking chair, which I'll show you in a second. On it, I basically put a bunch of Jellycat books. We got all of these as gifts from different people. We also have quite a few different Jellycat stuffed animals too. They're very popular baby gifts, and it worked out great because of the animal theme I was going for in here. So while I have a lot of his other books in the closet, I thought these ones would be fun to put on display because First of all, the animal theme and those cute little tails on top. So I put them in rainbow order, and we've actually looked through some of those books and I've read some of them to Owen while I'm on the rocking chair. So it's nice to have a couple of things that are easy access that I can just grab while I'm rocking him. So that's really nice. And then as one of the other bookends, I used just a little fake plant that I had and a little name sign that I got custom made for him that I took some photos with when we were in the hospital as well. I wanted to drop down here to show you that I have his laundry basket actually on the floor here right next to the door to the nursery. Originally, I had it in his closet, but decided to move it over here because of the current situation we're in with him still sleeping in our room. So this might change when he moves to his nursery and is sleeping here in the night. We might move it back to the closet if that makes more sense. But for now, because we're most often kind of still changing him in our room, we're having him maybe spit up on things, not necessarily in his nursery, but in our bedroom or when we're out and about. So it's a lot easier for us to just walk in here, toss it right in there without walking all the way into the nursery and into the closet and stuff. So it's just easy access, and it's closer to the laundry room then because I can just pop in here and grab it and take it and go. So that's why I have the laundry bin here, and it also just kind of fills that blank space that we have there. So that's really nice as well, and I think it's super cute. Then I wanted to share what I have inside of the nightstand. There's still almost too much space in this nursery, so I didn't want to over organize it really. I don't want to add stuff just for the sake of adding stuff. There's a lot of bins and drawers and stuff in here that are half full, some that are completely empty, and that's totally fine by me. I want to keep it as simple as possible. So with this top drawer, I wanted to put things in there that I could foresee myself using as I'm sitting and rocking him or nursing him, and just quick, easy access things. So the number one thing I wanted to have in here were some snack bars, and I have 2 different lactation bars, so I'm stocked up and ready to go. I feel like I'm constantly starving because I am breastfeeding him, and just a lot of times I feel like he wakes up and he's in a sudden panic to eat, and I sit down to nurse him, and then I realize, oh my gosh, I didn't grab a snack for myself, I didn't grab a water for myself, and I'm gonna be stuck here for 20 minutes or so. So it's nice to have that I can just open the drawer and grab it. I also have a few other things for me. I have like a little nipple balm and a silk hair tie. Those are great for me to have, as well as that little remote control. I added a switch to this lamp, so it's on a remote control, which is also nice if I'm in the rocking chair and can't quite reach the lamp. I can use the remote control, and it makes the lamp a dimmer, which is even better when you have a little baby. So I can dim the light and I can turn it on and off all from the remote. So that's awesome. I also added in a little mini lotion that I had. You never know, sometimes I feel like when I'm sitting and looking at him so close, I can see some dry spots. So I want to put some lotion on him, as well as a little nursery spray that one of my friend's parents got me. And then on the far side there, we have a little plush rattle and some baby gum tooth wipes. Those I had in the bathroom, and again, these were a gift. They're maybe not something we're planning on repurchasing because I don't think they're super necessary. Our dentist said that you could just use kind of like a wet washcloth and wipe their gums off when they're done eating. It's not that big of a deal, but we have these gum wipes, and to remind myself to actually use them, and since we have them, I put them in here so after I finish nursing him and feeding him, I could use them here. When we were looking for gliders and rocking chairs, we were finding a lot that didn't recline and rock at the same time. Most chairs that you'll find, when you recline them, the rocking feature stops. And we really wanted one that did both, and we're having trouble finding that. We could find some that had an ottoman to them, but since we didn't quite know the configuration of the room that we were gonna have, we actually bought this before we even moved into our house. We didn't wanna have something that had even more space. We wanted it to just be a chair in isolation and still have that rocking and reclining feature at the same time. So I was really happy when we found this one. It is definitely not a cheap chair, but hoping it'll last us a long time. And if and when we have multiple kids, kind of move from room to room and move from kid to kid and last through that whole entire time. So I love that it is leather and comfy and looks nice in the space. And it is an electric chair, so you can just press buttons on the side and completely customize exactly how far you want to lean back and how far you want the footrest to go up and all of that stuff while still rocking back and forth. So I love that. And then I had to add a little bit more greenery. So I added in a little faux tree here that kind of makes it more jungle and animal themed as well. I did an entire separate video on organizing Owen's nursery closet, so I will make sure to link that in the cards above as well as in the description box below if you want to watch that whole video and all of the details of me going through and organizing it. It's kind of fun because I was still pregnant and figuring out all of the different things and how I wanted to organize it. We didn't have any furniture in the nursery, so everything really needed to go in here. We didn't have a dresser. So because of that, and because we now have a dresser and we now have our baby here, some of the ways that I'm organizing have changed just a little bit. We still got even more items and stuff after that. So for example, I had a bin for sheets and blankets. I now also have a drawer in the dresser that has even more blankets. I thought this bin was going to be totally large enough for all of our sheets and blankets. It is not. We've also added even more diaper storage at the top of the closet for backups, and I've kind of moved some things around. I had a bin in here for our bibs and burp cloths. I thought that was going to be a good spot for it, and while it seems like a really good spot for the backup bibs and burp cloths, I have found that we need bibs and burp cloths kind of all over the place, mostly burp cloths. It's nice to have them in our bedroom. We have them in our living room diaper caddy. I need some constantly in my diaper bag. I have some in the dresser. I kind of think I might want to put some also in that top drawer of the little nightstand by the rocker, because of course when I'm feeding him, that's when he's bound to spit up. So we don't have that many burp cloths to have tons of them all over the place, and then also a ton of back stock. So this bin may be something that ends up changing, but I'm still overall very happy with the closet, and I think it's probably just going to keep evolving as he continues to grow. You can see we don't have a lot of clothing still for him that's hung up. As he gets older, he'll evolve with the type of clothing that he's wearing. I opted to really only hang things that are pretty bulky and don't lend themselves to being folded. He doesn't have a lot of formal clothing, but more formal clothing that I wouldn't want to get wrinkled, that would be things that I would want to hang as well. So it's mostly just bulky stuff, some jackets, but I do have the little closet dividers that separate by age, which is really helpful, especially when I'm not as familiar with all of his clothing yet. So I know exactly what section to look in and know what's a part of his wardrobe that he should be wearing right now and what might fit him. The other thing that's really been helpful is having that bin in here that's for his clothing that's too small on him. We've used that up, and as you can see, it's pretty much full in there, and a lot of that is because we have twin boy nephews and they sent us a bunch of their clothing. They're about 6 months older than Owen, so lots of hand-me-downs, and since they were twins, they were born at a little bit of a lower birth weight, so they started in preemie clothing, and my brother and sister-in-law sent us all of that stuff just in case Owen was born early or was born just smaller and fit into preemie clothes. So we didn't end up using any of that. He was born 6 pounds, 12 ounces. So he was definitely still a smaller baby, I guess, but he wasn't in preemie clothes. So that stuff went straight into the too small bin, and he's already moved out of pretty much every newborn outfit. I think there's still one that fits him, and he's in the 0 to 3 month category. So, and that is starting to feel like some of the outfits are getting small on him. So I could foresee us pretty soon moving through that and getting into some 3 to 6 month clothing. So it's crazy how quickly they move through stuff. So if you have a little baby or even young kids, it's just so nice to have this bin, convenient and easy to access, and you don't have to go somewhere else to put that clothing that's too small. This is probably my favorite spot in the nursery, and that's for a couple of reasons. Number one, I am in love with the sign on the wall. I'm so happy with how it turned out, and I really like how it pops against that green accent wall. I'm happy that we decided to paint one wall green. We did that right when we moved in, and some of the walls needed to be repainted in here anyway. The rest was actually already gray and could probably use a little bit of repainting. So we left that as is. We can always repaint later, but we did one wall green, and I think it really helps kind of tie everything together. The tree that we have next to the rocking chair and bringing that whole theme together. So I'm really happy with that. And then the mobile that we have over the crib, I love as well. I know a lot of times when you have kids actually sleeping in their cribs, it's better to move it out of the crib and move it away. Kind of, again, brings everything together. And they're just cute little sleeping baby animals. So I love the way that this whole overall section looks. Before we move on to kind of the main event, the dresser, I did want to share this adorable stool that one of my friends just sent us. It is kind of nostalgic. I know a lot of people grew up with stools like this that have little puzzle pieces. So his name actually comes out and it can be a puzzle. Great for when he gets a little bit older. But she knew I was going for an animal jungle theme, so she got one that had an elephant on the side of it. It is so perfect and adorable. I almost want it for any future children that we might have to get matching ones. You can customize the different shapes here, the different wood finishes, of course the name and the coloring of the letters of the name as well. So this is really a cool piece, and I decided to put it in here just to kind of fill this empty space as well. I'm debating whether I want to put maybe 2 floating shelves above it and put some more things kind of on display, maybe some photos. We got newborn photos that we're still waiting on. We have some maternity photos. An ultrasound might be cute that I still have one framed that I might put there. So things like that. So let me know your opinions, what you think. If you think that the room is kind of full enough and a little too much and we should pump the brakes on the decor, or if it would be nice to kind of fill this space and add a little bit of shelving inside the actual bedroom as opposed to everything in the closet. Maybe bring some more books out here that are a little bit easier to access. Right when you walk in through the nursery door, the first thing you see is the dresser. So that's kind of the main event. And I was a little bit nervous putting it right in front of the window, but the way that we had to configure the furniture, that was kind of the only spot that made sense to me. With a gliding and rocking chair, it's probably best to put it into a corner, because when it reclines back or it's gliding back and forth or rocking, it needs that space to do it. So having it fully centered on a wall, you'd have to have just a really large gap, and I didn't like that look or want that look, so angling it in a corner really makes the most sense. And there was only one corner that didn't have a door immediately adjacent to it, so a lot of the other corners in the room are just too narrow, so we had to put it in that corner. And then kind of moving through things, it was just a natural progression of, well, I want the nightstand next to the glider, and then I want a big sign over his crib, so it makes sense for that to go there. And then the dresser was the last remaining thing, so it went by the window. But Owen's actually loving it. When I bring him here in the mornings and I set him on that changing pad, he loves to see the sunshine, his eyes open, and he just looks out there and kicks his little legs and starts smiling. And so I'm actually really happy that we put it there. And it's nice because the changing pad that we got is one that's wipeable and really easy, and I'm happy with that because we've had some accidents and some spit ups there already. So happy with what we chose, but it does feel like it can get a little bit cold. So since we have it right by the window, when the morning sun beats on it, it actually kind of pre-warms it for him, so it works out great. We also have on top of the dresser there a little diaper caddy. I went with an acrylic one to match the drawer pulls that we have with the dresser and nightstand, and have, of course, his diapers, some wipes, a cute little monkey lovey there. He's not necessarily playing with toys or snuggling with stuffed animals yet, but it looks cute there, and I can always kind of hold it up and play with him. And then I have some other little bath essentials that we need or use often. They're all from Tubby Todd. Really happy with those products as well so far. So I like the top setup of the dresser. just kind of the general rundown of the way that I wanted to organize the dresser. First of all, I consulted with my husband, Jim, and wanted to know what he thought. He's gonna be in here a lot too, helping out and changing Owen and things like that. So I wanted to make sure it's accessible and the organizing makes sense for both of us. He's a lot taller than I am, so when I put things on the bottom drawer, it doesn't bother me at all, but for him, he prefers things that he's accessing most often to be up higher, which does make a lot of sense to have those as the top drawers. I also just in general, when I'm organizing a dresser, kind of think light to heavy. So oftentimes I like to put lighter things like socks and underwear at the top of my dresser and heavier things like sweatshirts at the bottom. So the way that I decided to split things up is the full left-hand side is all of his clothing. So with that, I put all of his current clothing, the size that he's in right now, at the top. Then the next drawer down, I kind of divided it again by size and it moves across the drawer. And then the bottom drawer is actually empty. We don't have that much clothing for him yet. So that drawer is empty and I'm completely fine with having the extra space. Now the next side of the dresser, I've put right under the diaper caddy because it kind of makes sense to me mentally to have backup diapers and wipes and things like that. Next down, we have some sleep sacks and swaddles and accessories. I would usually put the accessory type things at the top, but I really wanted to have more of the diapering section way up high here. And then at the bottom, we have some blankets. So it does go that light to heavy to me. Having blankets at the bottom just makes sense in my mind. Let's start with the top drawer here. Again, I said this is the diapering drawer, so tons of backup diapers, so it's really easy to restock this diaper caddy. We have more in the closet, but I like to have some here as well. And then I have extra wipes, those burp cloths, ready and easily accessible. These burp cloths my mom actually made for us. So they are all matching in the shape, but she made them out of a bunch of different fabrics and colors. So they're extra special because my mom made them. And the other thing my mom made are these little pee-pee teepees. So if you have a baby boy, you know that baby boys are definitely difficult when it comes to changing their diapers. They like to just kind of let it loose when you open that diaper. And we have had plenty of accidents. We've tried different strategies like opening the diaper and kind of exposing him to cold air and then quickly closing it and seeing if he goes to the bathroom one more time before we open it and change his diaper. Sometimes that works. I will say these are handy, but he moves around so much that it is kind of difficult to use these, and hopefully he's graduating from this stage of peeing everywhere, so we might not use these that much longer, but they're kind of fun. And again, my mom made them, so we have them in here. And then I also put his accessories at the top here. So we have his little sunglasses. I mean, how cute are these things? And pacifier clips just in a little case that closes. So that's the top drawer here. Then to this next drawer down, I have his swaddles. I have some just plain white onesies, both short sleeve and long sleeve in his current size. I have all of his baby socks, tons and tons of hats. Again, those are a lot of hand-me-downs. And then I have sleep sacks that he's not using yet. Those are for once he graduates from the swaddles and he's starting to roll over and he can have his arms free and doesn't need to be swaddled anymore and shouldn't be swaddled anymore. So we have 3 of those, and then I have 2 extra covers for my Boppy nursing pillow. Thought I probably wouldn't need an extra one or need backups, but now that Owen's here and we've experienced the amount of accidents that can happen, it is so nice to have a few backups. In this bottom drawer here is exactly what I was talking about when we were in the closet, that we have so many blankets. I would have said too many before Owen was born if I knew this was how many blankets we had, but we use them all the time, especially in the winter. I feel like we're taking him places and constantly putting a blanket over him, and with spit ups and accidents, we're washing them constantly, so it's nice to have backups. But we even use them on our bed. We lay them down to change him on top of our bed, so we don't have to wash our sheets super often. So these are getting lots of love and lots of use. It's still probably a lot of blankets, but not complaining and very grateful for all these gifts. So I've put these at the bottom, and we still have a little bit of space here, but I like that it kind of fits the blankets themselves, and I'm okay having a little bit of dead space on that side there. Then moving on to this side of the dresser, we do have all of his clothing that's in his current size, so 0 to 3 month right now. And the way that I've divided it, because there are kind of 3 different sections that I have here, I did it purposefully because we want to know what's what, and especially my husband, he wants to know what type of outfits are which type of outfits. So the first long row we have, and we have the most of these, are just zippered footies. Owen lives in them. Our favorites are the ones from Old Navy because they have that double zipper. So it zips from the bottom and from the top. It makes diaper changes really simple. So when we're just hanging out at home, especially when he's going to bed and we're thinking about middle of the night diaper changes and stuff, those are our go-tos, but there are also just some single zipper footies in here, some that zip from the top, some that zip from the bottom, but it's all of our zippered footies and onesies. Then the next largest section is the more complicated onesies, and those include like the ones with snaps either all the way down or just at the bottom. Some have like little faux fake buttons at the top and snaps at the bottom, or knotted gowns. All of that is in this section. And then the smallest section that we only have 2 things in our 0 to 3 month size are outfits that are separate pieces, so pants and a top. I've divided that as well so we know exactly what the different outfits are. And then there was some more space in this drawer because that's all we have in his size, and it's enough. We definitely have to do laundry pretty often, but we need to do laundry with, like I was talking about before, sheets and other things like that. So it's all he needs for sure. I have some of his toys that are little squeakers, like Sophie the giraffe. Being named Sophie, I needed to own a Sophie the giraffe. And other teethers and rattles and items like that. So we have all of that easy access, especially as he gets a tiny bit older. It could be nice to grab one of these things while he's on the changing pad and let him play around. So that is it for the top drawer. Then one drawer down, we have everything in the next sizes. So we have some 3 to 6 month, and then this next row goes all of the other sizes. We even have some outfits, I think some are in a 2T, like a toddler size. So this section goes pretty far back as far as the different variety of sizes we have here. I didn't want to separate it out further than the 3 to 6 month, which is going to be his next size, because there's just not enough of it to divide it that way. So I left it all in one row, and then that bottom drawer on the left side here is completely empty. Thanks so much for watching today's video. Again, I would love if you left me a comment below letting me know whether you think I should add some floating shelves or not, or if it would be too much on that blank wall. I would also love to hear if you liked today's video. You can also let me know that you liked today's video by giving this video a thumbs up, subscribing to my channel if you haven't already. But until next time, I will see you guys later.